No, irksome fucking creature you are.
I'm Kaido. I'm AKA
Kaido. No, you're Kite.
No.
You act like that's your fucking spirit animal. You created that thing, and you wonder why he acts like the way he does. Nigga, you out here like, how dare you run outside? You would run outside if you were him. It's just be like, and then you would get upset because white people stole you.
I would. I'd be like, well, I didn't ask for this. I wanted freedom.
I wanted freedom, not further restriction. And I also wanted to go home and get food when I wanted to, too.
Yeah, I don't know, y'all, and I don't want to be here. But welcome to another episode of Conscious Reconstruction. As you couldn't tell, Charles is extremely frustrated with me.
I'm not frustrated. It's just more so you just being an irksome creature.
All right, well, y'all take that as y'all will. And Ash is here. She had a wonderful trip. She went to Florida. She saw alligators, and she almost got eaten by a crocodile. But that was at the zoo. Oh. So how was your trip, Ash?
Well, we could start by we weren't in Florida.
I know, but I like my story better with the alligators.
I'm sure you did.
You didn't have no alligators in your story.
I didn't have any alligators.
Did you almost get into
your crocodile alligator?
All you did was tell me about smelling piss. Mm-hmm. I don't want to hear about that. I want to hear about
she was inside of she was a part of the trifecta of cities that smell like pee: New Jersey, New York, and Philadelphia.
That's not what I don't want to hear about a pee smell city. I want to hear about damn. I almost got ate by this alligator. I had to hit that nigga in the nose.
Well, you know what? Let's just leave it at your story. Let's just do that.
Fine, that's what happened. She was in Florida. She almost got attacked. She got attacked by the alligator. He got to get punched in the nose.
That. So we're
now
gonna
you
that
heard
one.
what you wanted to hear. Does it make you happy?
Yeah, normally.
All right, go ahead.
See, stop adding asterisks to things. Yeah, normally. Either it made you happy or it didn't.
No, it don't make me happy if I got to like instruct y'all. Yeah, like I did.
You made it up off the cuff.
I mean, I don't got no cufflinks on.
That's the reason why it's off the cuff.
She's so upset. She ain't got time for us. She said, why are we here? Like, you know what? We don't also have time for any of these semiconductor chips. None of them will be, if you want a computer or
anything that's produced with this particular type of Toshiba chip.
Yeah, anything from Toshiba. Which is pretty much
a good portion of electronics.
They're a good portion of the world.
They're
like,
large.
It's not saying like, if you want a Toshiba chip and it's like
there's only Toshiba things.
No. They do a lot of people's stuff and they just won't have shit.
Like they are one of the microprocessor producers.
Them, Samsung. I don't know who makes Snapdragon processor.
Well, Snapdragon is its own thing. Motorola exists.
And then I know Apple does its own A3.
But nobody uses that shit.
Well, yeah, no, because it's all internalized. But
it was like
they might be decent. So, I mean, you'll probably be able to get iPhones.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I went with the Pixel this time around. So.
Pixels are good.
Yeah. So
I mean, I like having two phones, so I say it's good as like
got two
since I have both options. What's wrong with having two phones? How was your week, Charles?
Pretty of programming work. You know what the most like exhilarating thing to get you back on your own path? Work upsetting you. It's just like I've been programming like, but this weekend I really got back to it because it's just like I had a irksome day at work and it's just like I don't want to, I do this stuff because one, I like to have the flow of money coming in. Two, I don't quite mind what I'm doing. But there's always those moments when you're dealing with people and it's just like, I don't want to, you know what? This is not a 100% tenable situation and I could possibly move to a 100% tenable situation. So I'm going to make the steps that I can to move towards the 100% tenable situation. Even though this is 75% tenable, this is relatively fine. Not that big a deal.
That's good. I like that. I'm happy that happened to you. Look at life smacking you into the direction I needed to.
Oh no! I mean, that's always the biggest thing.
The fist bump. Thank you.
Oh no! It's just like every single once in a while because like whenever I go back to work after a break, obviously I have a lot longer wick than I did before. But it's just like, oh, the wick is not necessarily burnt out, but it's just like, oh.
I don't know why I'm doing this.
I don't like this enough to deal with all of the things. And it's just like not 100% setting your own schedule, even though you kind of set your own schedule. I set my own schedule some of the times, and some of the times I can't set my own schedule. And then I'm dealing with other people who want to be difficult sometimes. Like, it's the thing that I realized, like, we were having a conversation earlier about Kanye West, and he had an engineer that worked 33 hours straight, and how that does not lead to necessarily a good product or a good work product. And it's just like, we're all there. They've been there since 4:30 or 4. And it was last Thursday. It was the day that we filmed the show. And I told them 2 hours beforehand that I'm going to be 2 hours late because y'all decided to move this up from 6 to 6:30. So I'm going to be there at 5 because you guys, like, moving things up is a whole different conversation than moving things back for me, at least to me, because I had planned on being there anyway.
You can't tell me that the time that I planned is now
2 hours
time. That don't read. I had this set, and so I'm gonna do this then. So this is my time to make a different plan.
It's just like, but moving, because if it would have been different if you moved it from 6:30 to 8:30, no big deal, because ultimately I probably planned on being there at that point in time anyway. So not the end of the earth, but moving things like forward in time, it's just like, oh, we moved from 6:30 to 4:30.
That's like telling me that I gotta
show up to work 2 hours earlier.
Yeah, it's normally I gotta be at work at 9, and then you were like, oh, you ain't know you're supposed to be at 7? Nigga, that's not how this works. You don't just change my schedule and be like, nah, you gotta get here early. You can ask me how you want to come in late, or you can ask me to come in earlier. But if I have other things to do, you gotta also be accepting of the no.
And it's just like, it's like they were relatively fine with it, but I got some amount of shit about it. It's just like, oh, I mean, the reason why you were late was because you were out here, like, you like to take your time. It's just like, no, the reason why I wasn't really late. You just moved the time up. So you can arbitrarily decide to move times, but I schedule things and I budget my life. So when I get a time,
such a weird term. I budget my life.
Yeah, I mean, that's
you budget your life, Ashley.
Budget, like allocate. What do you mean by budget?
Like, I allocate time towards doing specific things. Like that day, I had 2 hours. I had a certain amount of time allocated to do late night palette, and then I came here and did the late night palette. And the general process of things is like, it consumes about 3 hours. I got here at 2. I left here at about 4:30. I want to say.
Okay,
so it's not like we were here for an outrageous
on this schedule. No, yeah. I do not budget my time. It's more so like I write down what needs to accomplish. I'm not too concerned about the time thing unless it's like a strict deadline. I have to be done with this by this time.
Yeah.
Other than that, if I write it down, it needs to be done. Do it need to be done that day? Depends on what it is. But it will get done if I write it down, most likely.
And so it was one of those things where it's just like, all right, we went to go work out. We had this conversation the day prior. I specifically moved that back because I was already at work the prior night. And then it was just like, or I was at work during the prior day and I was doing some stuff. And it's just like, oh, I might have something to do tomorrow night. So we're not going to do this on Wednesday night. We're going to do this on Thursday night or Thursday during the day. And it's just like, well, we want to move this back up. And it's just like, well,
that's okay, Charles. That's why you're going to be a great husband, because you're going to have everybody at least formally on schedule. So
I'm very good at getting people moving and getting people where they need to be.
You know what else is on its own schedule?
What?
McDonald's and their ice cream machines.
That's an interesting transition there.
I mean,
you made it. We made this turn.
I was moving.
I don't know. Them bitches argue with them bitches don't ever work, and it's also the cheapest thing on the menu.
And how the FTC get involved? What letter?
Fair trade. You got people coming in there for ice cream that you can never sell.
That's crazy.
So, yeah. Y'all ever gone to McDonald's and just not been able to get ice cream?
The McFlurry machine don't ever work.
In a suburb.
I don't even believe that they sell McFlurries anymore. They just have the logo for it.
I was in a suburb, look at Arby's, and I'm like, do your ice cream machine work? Because the other one, the one in Cleveland, not necessarily the hood, for some reason they was always running out of shakes. I'm like, your ice cream machine work? Sorry, ma'am, this is not McDonald's. Was what the lady said to me at the window, and I started laughing because I'm like, damn. I'm like, did it give away where I was from? And I just kept laughing.
Well, no, it's not like Arby's is some random highbrow thing, Ash.
Hey, but still,
it's just publicly.
fact.
It's just known at nauseum that McDonald's, their ice cream machine doesn't.
I just
always
thought
work.
it was fucking hilarious. I'm like, dang.
Like, you can get a milkshake from pretty much anywhere but McDonald's 90% of the time.
I only asked because
Like the Frosty machine always
shit.
fucking works at Wendy's.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason you go there and it's just
Hey,
like,
can I get an Oreo McFlurry? Our ice cream machine is down.
at some point y'all are gonna have to buy two of
It is
these.
the middle of the summer, and I don't want anything but an ice cream treat.
You ain't got it?
Why can I not have this? I've been to 17 McDonald's, and every one of you is broken.
I just would have
would you like this $17? Would you like this $10 hamburger though? And that's the biggest thing about all their ice cream things. They're priced really low to get everyone in the door, and then like it's a thing that Costco does. They price the chicken really low, put it in the back of the store to get you to walk through the entire store, and the likelihood that you buy something on the way to go get the chicken is pretty high.
All I know is I'm not fucking with it. But the reason that the FTC is investigating is it might not be McDonald's fault technically that the machine's always broken.
What fault would it be?
Some contracts that you have say that you're not allowed to repair your own machines.
Oh.
So they believe that that's what's happening.
So they gotta
with
wait for the
most of-
repairman to come.
They believe that's what's happening with all of like the way that McDonald's contracts are set up, that they're not allowed to repair their own shit.
They signed it. They're a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I guess it's more so the franchises, and they sign a franchise. If you signed on the franchise, the franchise says that you're not allowed to repair your own ice cream machine.
But it also comes. I guess it's a little bit bigger because it's an executive order from Biden, basically saying that people are allowed to fix their own shit. So, like, let's say something of yours breaks, you're allowed to take it to like a third party
to get
it fixed, and that won't necessarily void the warranties.
Yes.
So that's the new change, and so that's why the FTC is looking into this.
That's actually a very large deal because that says like for your Mac, you can take it somewhere else, you can get it fixed
instead of Apple.
Yeah, and yeah, that's actually pretty consumer friendly.
Yeah, so that's what he called
Look at
it.
that.
Yeah, and so, but you know, they're also looking the reason they're looking into McDonald's because they're like, but all y'all stuff is broken, and we should know why.
Joe Biden likes ice cream.
They might not have the. I guess it's called the Right to Repair Initiative.
I've heard about it. I didn't think it was really that big, but
yeah, so it is to change your ability to actually take your shit to places that are a little more affordable and just give a more of a chance for people to have their stuff fixed and replaced, and not necessarily like, oh, this is broken and I have to go get a new one instead of going to get it fixed because my warranty only allows me to upgrade. So I think it's cool. But also fix those fucking McDonald's ice cream machines because I'd like a McFlurry
at 2:00 in the morning.
Bruh,
or
also,
3:00 in the afternoon.
Can I get some fast food restaurants that are open 24 hours?
Never again.
Why does that not exist out here?
Well, it used to for a very long time. Burger King, Wendy's, all those things used to be open late. I think Taco Bell's still open, but you're not getting any ice cream from Taco Bell. You can get some cinnamon twist, but
yeah, the 124-hour McDonald's used to be one up the street for me. There used to be a 24-hour Burger King kind of sort of up the street. Probably like a 10-minute drive at most. But don't nothing ever be open, like for real open, like and good. Like I don't want to go to a fucking diner. Sometimes you just want a little cheeseburger at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, that's all I want. And it's like, why can't I go to a quick
I hate that shit.
fast food spot? Every single one of them is never been open. Like that's like when I moved out here, the fact that they're so no. When I first moved out here, the fact that even then they don't have a whole lot of them.
yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Even in 2007, 2004.
No, they did. Oh no, it was worse back then because back then everything actually used to close them at a reasonable time.
Yeah, it was terrible. Nothing stayed open. No 24 hours.
I actually prefer it like
want.
that.
I don't.
What?
The fuck?
Make some food at home.
No.
You don't want it that bad.
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
I'm hungry, but not
work
for
your
what the
ass
fuck.
at
I
McDonald's
don't
and
know.
get yourself.
But no. I don't want what I have in my refrigerator.
Yeah, I want something
And I'm
else.
why'd you
trying to
buy
make
it?
it because I'm hungry. But what I want to go do is get me a burger real quick
Yeah,
from this
real
fast food
quick.
place.
Stay home.
Like I miss the fact. Like I wish y'all had Jack in the Boxes out here.
You should be asleep. No one needs Jack in the Box anywhere. That needs to be
I
scorched
wish we
from the
got
face of the
something else
fucking
other than
earth.
Sonic, though. Sonic is whack.
Yeah, Sonic's super trash.
Anything that stays open forever is whack as far as I'm fucking
No,
I
Jack in
concerned.
the
don't
Box
think
is
that's
amazing.
I don't want to be able to get a curry bowl and a taco from the same place.
It's
I
not a
want
curry
those
bowl.
options.
It is a teriyaki chicken bowl. Thank you
I
very
don't fucking
much.
care. I want to. It's just like I'm going to just.
I
One
want
day
to try
Tony's
the
gonna
Del
want.
Taco place. I just want some
Del
of this
Taco?
shit.
Oh, Del Taco's hella good.
I just want some of this shit that
I
they
love
get,
Del
just
Taco.
a little bit,
I don't
even
want
if it's
it.
just
They
one.
can have it.
We don't have it here. I want a Daiso. I want to go to a Japanese dollar store. It just
All right.
havoc.
Dysa doesn't exist here because we don't serve that level of Japanese people.
I don't care, but I just want one. It can even have been an hour drive, 2 hour drive. Ain't shit over here. It's not even on like the for real coast. Like,
I got a Can Mason food market right up the street from my house.
no. I
Charles
want
is so
what the East and
No.
West Coast are.
We are on the fucking East Coast.
Man, we don't got nothing good.
Nothing. Like we're in the
we don't
fucking
need
weird
Jack in the
lands.
Box.
We
It's
like
trash.
the middle child of
Jack
the East
Tacos,
Coast.
trash.
Have you had a Jack
Teriyaki
Taco?
bowls, trash.
Have you had a Jack Taco?
Teriyaki
I have never
bowl.
eaten a fast food
Trash.
taco, period.
So you've never had a Jack Taco?
Yeah, because fuck off.
So you don't know it's trash.
It's
This is
99
Taco.
cents.
You don't know it's
If,
trash.
if the average profit margin
Hey.
is something that's if you
You've
get a
never
200%
eaten it.
taco, that means that Jack Taco is worth 33 cents.
You have never eaten it.
It's 33 cents.
You
I
never
don't
eaten
need,
it.
you know what? When I was going to a wedding, there was this delicious rice pudding, but I didn't finish eating it because it's like, man, this is going to fuck my stomach up.
You ever eat
I look at that Jack Taco and I know that.
You ever eat a dollar hamburger?
No.
You've eaten a dollar hamburger
No.
before.
Nigga like you daddy.
I typically just eat the chicken nuggets.
Said no.
So you've eaten a dollar chicken nugget.
Back when I was eating Wendy's and stuff
No.
like that.
He a great liar.
Yeah, when he was a kid, he ate a dollar hamburger.
He looked
I
at
know.
you dead
I
in
know.
the
I know.
face.
He
Oh,
ate.
you want to?
No.
Oh, you want to fuck around when I was a kid?
Oh.
I lived in completely and total existence as a kid. My parents didn't keep top in the house. They only bought juice. I didn't drink Kool-Aid until I actually entered high school.
Oh, that's what I mean as a kid.
Yeah.
High schoolers are kids to me. Nigga, we're hella grown. What are you talking about?
When I talk
I'm
about
12
kid,
years older than a nigga
When
that
I
was
say
graduating
kid,
high school.
when I
Fuck
say
is you
kid,
talking about?
I
I'm
think about
15.
someone who
No,
can't
I'm-
wipe their own nose.
Nigga, I'm 17 years older than a nigga going into high school.
Yeah.
No, that ain't.
Right.
I'm
That's
older
over-
than his life and
He's
has
a
been on
teenager.
this planet.
I go out. Teenagers and children are two different
No,
entities.
they
to me.
all kids to me. I can't. I mean, you treat them the same. Like
No, I
y'all-
don't.
That's
Well,
the
I
when you
guess
get
for
older.
me, like they're all in the same parameter where it's like
Our teenagers are a lot
Yeah,
more
I don't-
hands off than
no, these aren't mine, so they're all hands off. What are you talking about?
I've had to pseudo like I've noticed the differences because I've had like
there's
because my
hella
entire senior
differences.
year I was forced to watch my then 6-year-old nephew because my sister was over in Afghanistan.
Oh no, I don't mean they're the same in that capacity of like how they operate, but in the standpoint from an adult who doesn't have any kids, they're both the same classification of people because we don't have to deal with them in a consistent sphere. So you treat them both the same. Hands off, y'all are children, and I'm not really looking to engage with y'all. So y'all are child.
I have different overall perceptions of children. Like if a 5-year-old collapses inside the middle of a store and starts crying, yeah, that's annoying, but that's also a 5-year-old. If a 13-year-old does the same thing, I think it's despicable. So
But-
I don't operate with them the same way.
Yes, you do, because do you go and do anything?
Do I go and do anything?
Yeah.
I look at the mother with sympathy.
Okay, but
That's like-
that's more of an emotional thing. That's how you feel about it. That's not you do anything. So if you look at the 13-year-old and cry and think something, and you look at the 5-year-old and cry and
Oh, I
think
might
something,
throw cans at the 13-year-old.
why are you attacking a 13-year-old?
Because he's all over here crying.
You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
I think more people
You're an
are.
abusive man.
I will I'll throw
You're a
top
big
ramen at
black
him.
man.
I will throw
That's
top ramen
assault.
at that child.
That's assault as well. You're going to jail. You're a big black
Look
man.
at this
Charles.
teenager.
You will get shot.
He's this.
Why he trying to get
this,
shot?
this oh no!
Look at this
I
big
mean,
burly
it's more than likely.
He a big burly black man. And you
I'm
talking
not
about
burly.
Talking about throwing fucking kids, launching them.
if
They
you're
fool
attacking,
with pop, nigga.
if you're being
I ain't
kids,
throwing my burners at them.
if you throwing kids,
I'm not wasting
throwing
fucking
shit at
burners on
kids,
children. They're getting
They gonna be
shitty
like,
pop. They're
which
getting that
one?
RC cola.
They get that Dr. Thunder.
all I'm doing is giving you what they gonna give you on the news. You know, on the news they gonna say this
Yeah,
burly
big
black
black
man
man.
attacked a child.
6'2".
Yeah,
Oh, what was he doing? There was a
they're
13.
not gonna ask what the child was doing. They're gonna try to find some
they gonna
nefarious
lead off
stuff in
with
your
that,
background.
Oh, there's no nefarious stuff in my background to be found.
Then they're gonna talk about your
Lead it
family
off
like they
there.
do it for everybody.
There's no nefarious stuff in my background, my family's background. It's just like he is the son of doctor. Oh wait, and
No, I
small
didn't say none
business
of
sales business owner and engineer. God damn it! Why does your? I'm gonna go back to your grandparents. Both your grandparents
They're
are
siblings.
siblings, but decorated Marine Corps veteran.
They're not gonna talk about that.
They
gonna
not.
say-
They're gonna say 6'2" black man.
It's just
Black
like
man.
at some point,
Target.
They're not gonna mention none of them people.
exactly
They
because they
can't-
can't extrapolate anything negative
Did a
from them.
lie.
Oh, they can lie if they want to. But I'm not gonna lie. Did you throw top ramen at that child? Like, yeah, he's
You're
a 13-year-old crying on the
You're
ground.
going to jail. That's
I'll
crazy.
probably get out of it.
You said
Why are
that's
you
crazy.
throwing Why are you throwing top ramen at the child?
Depending
That's
upon
fine.
where I am, my father actually knows a lot of the echelons of the people that work there.
But you gotta
I've gotten out of things before, Tony, because my
gotta-
father
yeah.
knows people.
You got to let them know. Why are you worried about a 13-year-old? I guess that's my thing. It's like, who cares
Because
about
it's
that?
a whole 13-year-old crying on the floor.
But
That's despicable.
I guess, but why do you care about that? How does that affect you?
He's inside the middle of the
But he's
floor and I
not your
can't go
child.
around.
Yes, you can.
Please
No, I
move.
can't.
Yes, you could.
You can step
He is
over him.
inside the middle of the aisle of this
You
giant
turn
eagle.
around and go.
And he's a
Niggas
13-year-old.
like this
So
clearly
he's
ain't got shit
tall.
to do with me.
So that means
This
it's less like
situation is
he
hilarious.
collapses. He
Why is
collapsed
doing
cat corner.
this
Why
shit
he-
is strangers.
This is for the public health.
This nigga
You know
won't
how
turn
y'all
around.
told me that I
He
was
just gonna
arbitrarily cheap about things?
You are arbitrarily cheap about
This is
things.
an arbitrary line that he's drawing.
No, it's not arbitrary at all.
It is.
This child is cat cornered the side of the thing, and he's getting the waist off on top
But
of
they
The
got
fact that
it.
this nigga just won't
They're only
walk away
99
is
cents a pop.
hilarious.
Yeah, Charles, you're relatively
I'm ju-
passive and let people do their own thing and just give people a lot of space and grace. So the fact that you're like, oh,
This
but
must
you're
be dealt
a
with.
child who isn't 25, hasn't had a hippocampus, and doesn't have impulse control is crying. That's the thing that you
In
draw
the
the line
middle,
on.
this flopping
yeah,
out
but
inside the
if
middle of the
you-
thing
You
because you
and
can't
me-
get some goddamn Fruit Loops.
We've had a
Calm your ass down.
Bro, we've had a conversation where we've talked about you're not an adult realistically
Until you're 25. But
so if we
the problems that you're
but if
having
we're
when you are
add-
5 years old should not be the same problems
but
that you're
we're
having when you're
adding
13.
another 7 years.
Yes.
So
You're
this
doubling
nigga,
your lifespan.
So this nigga still got another 12 years to really get it together. So
Yes.
maybe he's emotional and he's crying about Fruit Loops.
It's like I'm just crying about
I
Fruit
believe
Loops.
that
Take it
is
to
the
the car.
difference between childhood and adolescence, but they still both very immature.
Yeah.
Just
Take
say
your
that
ass to the
much.
car.
It's hella immature.
I'll say this. I
I'll
was so
find it.
immature
You know
to
what I'm
the
gonna
point
do? I'm gonna
where-
put it on Instagram.
Nigga, I used to cry all the time when I was like 13.
I did not cry
I
really
cried.
when I was
You
13.
could ask my mother. My mother would come down
I
here and
understand
tell
that. You told me.
you. Exactly.
I believe you.
I,
I believe you.
baby.
But you weren't crying inside the middle of the floor.
No,
inside
I
of
was
the
crying
the
anywhere.
part-
Wherever. It don't matter. I'm crying.
Where you were inside the middle of the floor.
It don't matter. I'm
Balled up.
crying.
It's just like, and you have
She
to
didn't yell
understand.
at me in the store. So no, I
He
didn't have to
said,
cry in
"I'm
the store because someone
crying."
yelled at me.
Yeah, because
Wherever
he was
she
like,
yelled, that's where Tony was crying.
I'm crying.
Oh, you've raised your voice? Oh,
I'm
we're at
crying.
school in front of teachers and all these other people?
Crying.
I'm boo-hooing now.
With the snot and
I
everything.
feel like
now
this
I'm
is you.
boo-hooing.
For some reason, I feel like this was the prerequisite to your
I lied and
gaslighting.
said that I wanted to kill myself when I was in 6th grade.
You out here gaslighting people.
Well, I was like, I got bad grades. I'm going to get in trouble. I was already crying and shit. I was like, I want to kill myself.
You out here gaslighting your own. Jesus Christ. I do not understand
The person
why
I
you
am.
have put this person on the earth.
He said, why did
Please
he
advise.
He said,
Is he praying?
he said, how did
It's
this
just
He's
like,
like, please.
what would you do if on your Mac right now, just a window popped up? Help desk is what help desk. God is coming, wait for help desk. It's just like, there's a lot of other things. It's just like,
can help with. No, I'll be all right.
For real, he slipped through the cracks.
Hey,
he wasn't supposed to get out yet.
You realize no matter what he does, he's just going into the abyss.
It's fine.
We ain't got space in hell for him, honestly. Too much ego.
In 6th grade, I definitely was like, I got bad grades. I'm about to be in trouble. I want to kill myself.
Because you have to understand, like,
this is what made sense to me.
I don't know.
If I say this, they'll feel sympathy for me, and I won't get in trouble.
My mother was a tiger mom for the most part, so like,
kill yourself perfect.
Are you an African or Africans? Because African parents are the same way.
I want to ask them about that. Like, is that a sense of like trying to leave your legacy? Because they don't see, if you're not a doctor or a lawyer or engineer, nothing prestigious. Like a lot of like Asian YouTubers, whether you Indian or Korean or whatever, will talk about that. Like they was like, oh, you can do that for fun, but it's time for you to be a doctor. Like yesterday,
I'm a billionaire, Mom.
Yeah, I'm so confused. So it's not about money.
No, it's not about money. It's about parental bragging rights.
Is it about bragging? Damn.
I don't think it's about bragging. I guess inside of there for Tiger Moms, which is a book, The Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother, that came out.
Tony's dyslexia moment. It's just like,
yeah, man, hella dyslexic.
He's proud here pronouncing it like Heim, like it's Sparta Heim, and it's just like, Tony, that's him. And sometimes us dyslexic people got to help each other out, because I looked at it, it's just like, I straight up looked at it and said, that could be Heim.
Well, there's Tiger Moms, and then there's also
GWAS.
GWAS, which
like
is
a fucking game.
China's chicken blood parents. Which is
like
apparently they be out here injecting their children with chicken blood.
Jiwa parenting culture, a relatively new phenomenon, is now in the crosshairs of Chinese authorities at a time when the government wants to see families having more children and raising more future workers. It fears that the hyper-competitive parenting pressures combined with the methodic growth of China's private educational sector, now worth billions of dollars, are deepening inadequately. There's no C in there.
Really?
Yeah, just weird.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's
sorry. The other thing, dyslexia thing. No, that's the other thing. Dyslexia teaches you to do. You start inserting things where they should be, and then sometimes it's just like, it doesn't say that at all.
Yep.
No, this is great.
That's the reason why Shakespeare fucks with me real heavy.
Who?
Shakespeare. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Anything that's with a different cadence than one would normally have to speak. The vowels it's just like, why are these superfluous words here?
Yeah, no, discouraging couples from having a large family, a priority of the country. It's new 3-child policy. But yeah, the chicken parents come from a old medical term of injecting chicken blood into you to give energy. So I'm not exactly sure if they're doing all the chicken blood injecting.
I hope not.
But they
that may have been an entire thing. It's just like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, we gonna end up with something worse. It's like, what are you doing? We got the super bird flu, except for we turned these people into turkeys.
Have you ever felt pressure to like make Riley like seem like a genius baby?
Yes and no. Only because you feel like you want to be ahead of all the dumb public school kids.
Just because you went to public school doesn't make you dumb.
I know it's an insult, but now you kind of want to go harder because everybody got this stigma against you homeschooling kids. It's very rare that you find somebody that's really okay with us. Like, oh yes, that sounds great. Everybody's just like, well, I don't know how you doing that and what's going on. And it's always like these backhanded, like, how are you doing this? And are you sure you could do that? It's always these like,
are you sure your kid's getting enough physical education?
Backhanded like things, and I'm just like, watch my kid smoke your fucking kid. So it's sometimes in my ego, yes, I do want my kid to be fucking scrambling through things.
Are you like Tiger Mom?
No, I'm not like Tiger Mom. I had to check myself. Like, is that what Riley really need, or is that your ego trying to speak? So it's a constant battle.
That kid needs to be in college in 2 years.
Exactly. It's a constant. I want to tell her, like, you know what you do? Just stun them all. Get your GED when you're 14.
Oh, you don't need to get your GED when you're 14. You can graduate high school at 13.
Listen,
it's happened.
I want her to do those things.
Like my friend Michael,
that's for me.
His younger brother, like
for Riley's growth.
This kid, I think he got his master's for case before he was 20.
Yeah, see, I want in my egoic mind all those things to happen.
Now, when it comes to emotional development and things like that,
that's only because it's to stunt on other parents and everybody that's just like, well, what are you doing?
The problem with having that
makes sense. That's what they were saying inside of this article. It's like one of the moms who was saying that before she had her daughter, while she was pregnant, she was like, I'm not going to be one of those parents, but when she did have her daughter, she would just see like all the other mothers and things like that on social media posting about like just the extracurriculars that their children were doing and just like how advanced or the advancement that they were like looking forward to their children's achievement. And she's like, well, is my daughter going to be behind or like missing out? But then this other mom was like, we only really have time to focus on one child. The other one daughter, we just have enough time to make sure that she has a food to eat and a place to sleep. And I was like, wait, what? I don't know. I'm so confused.
Can't 100% focus on two things.
And you can't, but the fact that you just like, nah, this is like, we got like a house guest. It's crazy as fuck.
See? Yeah,
Mom,
you see the implications of that.
I need more rice.
I recognize rice that is an ego thing. People. And as much as I would love to feed it, I'm not on that type of timeline anymore to feed that ego. I know that's projection. It's 100% projection. That's not really that Riley. I always got to the philosophy that Riley is my child and I take care of her, but at the end of the day, she is not my person. I don't own her. She couldn't be a stripper when she's 18, and what the fuck I'm gonna do about it for real? She had her own
not let her stay at home.
She gonna have her own set of ideas and own set of everything, and there's really nothing I could really do but that past a certain point. I'll take care of her. No, what do you want me to do?
I'm not even that. I'm shaking my head. It's just the sheer concept of my nieces being strippers. It's just like,
but
no.
What can you do for real? If they just wanted to be, yeah, exactly. You sit there and be upset. All I can say is, baby, if you need me, I got the fucking Glock. I don't know what else you want me to do. But it's really nothing you can do but be upset. Or I was watching this show where the mother.
Fuck that. There's things you can do.
There's a mother that was sleeping with her best friend's 18-year-old son. Now, that's the reverse. Wait, hold on. It was a TV show. It's not real.
Oh.
It's a TV show. It's not real.
It happens in real life, too.
I know. I don't know nobody personally that's doing this.
Every single basketball star.
But they were saying, like, if it was reversed, is everybody going to be leaning on them, kind of leaning towards the man's side where it's like, well, you know, she grown. She can do what she want. Or no, on the other side. It's the other side, right? If the woman goes for the younger boy, oh, she's a cougar, she do what she want. But if a man did it,
yeah, he would be
tisk.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking as a fucking mom, like if somebody, my best friend was for real, like, oh, he 18 now, he good for picking, like, I smack the fuck out you. I'm smacking the fuck out you. At first I was like, I would excommunicate my daughter. She would never come fucking talk to me. Then I was like, nah, because you don't want to push her away if this dude doing something that he not supposed to do. I was like, and then I mean,
it's
not
like
it.
It's not like she gonna listen to you to begin with. It's just like, that's not how relationships would be.
We love each other.
You don't know how relationships would be.
That's why I fully vibe with him with saying teenagers just be like big ass fucking kids. Because you know the first thing is, I love him. Bitch, I choke you right now.
You don't even know what love is.
Yeah, you don't know anything.
You about to learn the hard way.
You know this feeling that you have, which I could totally understand. You feel something. But don't make me choke you.
Is it weird that I would tell my daughter, it's just like, well, if it comes down to it, I'm fine with buying you the morning after pill.
See, like, what can you really do? Just be like, listen, if this nigga try anything
I will
stupid,
deal with the aftermath.
Know,
but it's just like, I thought he loved you. Oh, sweetie, no, he didn't.
I don't want that.
It's just like, what am I
about it? Even your son, though, you went with my son, like, dude, you fucking retarded. You know this nigga dumb.
Better with my son than my daughter.
No, I don't want it neither happen.
Well, I just know, like, because the conversation gonna get awkward as fuck for me. They go, is she dating an older nigga?
Mm-hmm.
I already know this nigga cracker.
Like, what is he here for?
That's a fact.
That's a fact. Like, what can you do? You got this precious.
This old nigga is
banging my daughter's back out. She mounting this shit like he pulling her hair. I'm like,
let me meet this
so
nigga.
both of y'all want to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Both of y'all want to die.
This is the nigga I need to meet.
Come
Come here.
here. What are you doing?
We're going to have to rev a real stern.
He gonna walk in there and he's not even gonna call you Mr. Melbourne. It's like, what's up, Tony?
I wish a nigga would dap me up after you just got finished fingering my daughter. I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm fucking both of y'all up.
Can you imagine? Think about the 42-year-old niggas that be dating the 18-year-olds. You get a 42-year-old grown man that is old enough to date you, walk in your house, date your daughter.
That's
the nigga I'm putting hands on. I'm putting fists and feet on that nigga.
That's what I'm saying.
It's only gonna be funny.
If he a 23-year-old and dating my 18-year-old, 25, I can kind of.
When you 42, you gonna be up.
And you dating my 18-year-old babe, my nigga, what you're here for is to get your dick wet.
And then see what you can get from this little girl, because you know she about to be in your fucking face. Asking you all types of dumb little questions. It's just like, what's the meaning of life?
Me, baby.
And then go sit down. I will shoot you in the face and then go sit down.
I thought about this in the shower. I'm like, what is this punishable for offense, man? What is this?
It's just like your friend shot and killed someone. I'm gonna turn on the news. He just gonna be inside the buckshot smiling like he in Ellie Chopper.
Like, I really feel like kicking you in the teeth while you down on the ground is pretty punishable for that offense. Like, okay, all right, but you still got hurt.
Yeah, bro,
you hurting after this. I ain't gonna kill you. Killing is for way for some from like really extreme things. But you fact that you looked at my daughter and was like,
43. That is,
you're not even close.
What you are doing right now is manipulating my daughter. This is low-key rape. Low-key. She don't even know that she being.
She don't know no better.
To say yes.
That's what I'm saying. She don't know any better.
I'm gonna say no for her, and I'm gonna put fists and feet. I'm gonna show up at your house. I'm not even gonna say nothing to her. She gonna be at home, and I'm gonna be at your house, and we're gonna have a conversation man to man, and I'm gonna let you know.
And you're like, yeah.
I don't know what other type of men that you've dealt with that have daughters, and maybe they're not present in their life, but I'm not that father.
It's just like, so I'm gonna pistol whip you inside your.
But I know where you live.
Good parents always know where they're
talking to you.
It's like, why did you pistol whip him inside of his own house,
I hope
sir?
to never see you again.
Bruh,
I'm not gonna hit him. I'm gonna meet him, remind him that, hey, you never told me where you live, but hey, I'm happy to be at your house. I hope that you have a good day, and I'm leaving because I want him to understand this can get real different. Because I'm not.
Like, realistically,
there's a worst case scenario. Okay. So when we start doing it,
you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
This is not the one to play with. Leave my baby alone.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know.
When 43-year-old dude says, "Yo, but check under your bed."
Yeah, because no, that shit is crazy. No, you got me fucked, bruh. Yo, old ass dating my daughter. I would fucking kill somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I can do the 25 because I can get that. It's whatever. I'm not gonna be happy about it, but it's gonna be what it is, because she checking for you older niggas. Y'all young and fly. Y'all still out here popping and having a good time. You realistically don't know shit from a can of paint either, just like her ass.
Just like her. So y'all just stupid together.
Yeah, y'all stupid together.
Vibe with this.
I can vibe with that. That's fine.
I can vibe with y'all stupidness together. But this old ass nigga,
he knows what he's doing.
Exactly. You know exactly.
He might be out here popping a blue pill,
and you know why you here. This is not acceptable.
Now, after 21, I'm more hands off with the 40-year-olds as well.
I can see that.
Because now I'm like...
Because you're a little acclimated now.
You've had friends who have been through this about this.
Acclimation about life.
You definitely had some heartbreaks.
Now. You've had some heartbreaks. You've dealt with people. This ain't going to be your first rodeo. So if you choosing the older nigga, you recognize what that's probably coming with. And I'm not about to...
You in college
be playing cowboy with this nigga now.
Yeah, nah, we done already established. But 18, fresh off the boat.
Yeah, fresh off the boat.
You still a teen.
Yeah, you still a child for real. Like, you don't.
Still a teen.
Just because your age is 18 don't mean that you've mentally changed any
like the only
any way from
18,
being 17.
the only reason why you could be sleeping with dudes is like,
and then
he buys
think
us
about
alcohol.
It, your son, like, it might be different for boys, but this old ass bitch around my son, I'm choking you. Bitch, if you don't get the fuck off.
If a 43-year-old is with my son,
what are you here for?
It's not a lot I can do. I can't put my hands on her.
I can.
I got sisters and shit.
I mean, hopefully my wife is about it, but I guess I'm looking at it from my perspective.
You can't do nothing.
I don't know. I feel like your mama was beat the hell out of some woman over your
But a woman
over
can.
your son.
You big grown ass. If you don't find somebody else, get
Or you
away
can
from
just
my
call
young
up Ash. It's
impressionable
just like
boy.
Ash. I got a situation.
Shit out you.
Or whoever the mother of the
Get
son
the
is will
fuck
probably
away
do
from my
something. It's just like,
dumb
what are you
boy
about to do?
son.
Yeah, like that shit, like, cause he don't know no better, and what you doing is trying to mold and manipulate and control this little nigga.
Exactly.
Mad
It's
on.
like, babe,
This nigga horny and full of cum, but
And
your
stupid.
nasty ass just like, come on now, get the
You
fuck
don't
away
have this
from
nigga do
him.
anything. If you a drug addict or if you a Steven, like, without putting too much of people's business out there, family member recently got out of prison.
okay.
They were tried as an adult at the age of 15
Well, that's
and did 15 years.
Sheesh,
okay.
So they just got out and they're 30.
this nigga still
31.
15, ain't he?
Currently got a bitch that got his nose wide open. He running around with her.
How old is the woman?
Probably 40s, 45. But no, he's a child mentally.
Yes, I understand he's a child mentally, but I don't know what he can
No, I'm telling you.
like. It's like
Putting it down.
it's like, why are you here? Like, that's always the question, because it's like typically inside of this situation, like with what we've been seeing with NBA players that have been going in, is like you seek to gain some type of benefit, or you pretty much you want to have an 18-year for ban, so
There
you
are
have to be
benefits.
adults.
There are benefits.
What? Just having someone?
No,
that'll
but they're
do
in the
your back-
street.
Yeah.
That's as direct as I can be with being as vague as like as possible.
Mhm.
I mean,
It's a lot
most
of
people
street benefits.
understand.
Yeah. So
Is-
it's in the streets. And she wanted them type of in the streets people, and since he just out of there, and what got him in there was some industry shit, what his value to her is,
The street shit.
I can get you to do that because you mentally here and you have not engaged with no one for this long period of time. And now that you got a bitch now.
That's all he's really concerned about.
Oh, at some point. Well, I mean,
That's what all 18-year-old niggas are concerned about. And you old bitch, if you around my kid, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking
I'm
face.
choking
no,
the
you
shit
just
out
let
you.
the mother handle these things, Tony.
Yeah, but it just spiritually, I'm punching you in the face.
You're gonna be there with spirit.
I'ma
You're gonna
send
be
my
out there.
astral projection
You're gonna
to
be
your
holding
fucking
your
spirit.
wife's hand,
I
and
would
you're gonna be like,
choking you over
"Do
your
it,
bed."
baby."
Yeah, while you sleeping, I'm gonna be just astral projecting choking you.
That's what he doing when he sleep.
It's just like, wait, you
Hate you
went
motherfuckers.
out and learned how to astral project yourself just to choke
Specifically
you.
for this
Yep.
shit.
Just to choke
I'm
you.
choking your spirit
Bitch.
all the way out of you.
I'm gonna choke your spirit all the way out.
I don't blame you.
You
That's
don't
fucking.
deserve to
Like I
breathe.
said, the punishment gotta fit the crime, and I feel like you have to hurt a little bit from doing this, because you clearly, no one told you like, yo, chill the fuck out. She's clearly like retarded and a child. Like they can't give you what you're looking for, and you're looking for something that's hella surface level. And if you don't take your ass to therapy and get away from these semi-children, I swear to God.
See, I generally skew to date younger, but
Mhm.
as I get older, my skew also moves
Goes
up.
up.
As well. Like it don't just stay.
He was
It's
like,
like,
no, this trait is moving.
I've heard the argument that I should probably actually skew a bit older than I actually
Like
do.
when
Oh,
I
Like,
would say
I
that for
skew
you.
about four. I skew to maybe
you shouldn't.
me.
Yeah,
I shouldn't skew older.
you shouldn't skew younger,
Oh,
but you do.
yeah.
You're not that.
I mean, I've been trying to date like late 20s.
You're not that though. You not late 20s when they 26, 27 is still party.
You should be.
No.
That was me.
No.
It's like,
No.
I mean,
He's
I went out
telling
when I
you.
was 27, but I wasn't out going out and getting shit faced or anything like that. But I've never been that go out and get shit faced person.
Yeah, but most people are still kicking it, partying, and not really moving into that frame of reference until their 30s. You should probably date
30s.
women that are 29 going into their 30s because they start looking at life different. Once they hit that 29 and that dirty 30 coming next, they're like, oh shit, I will be 30.
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing to call.
I gotta
I
figure out-
have no real claim. What's this nigga over here doing? Why is he asleep on the ground in his tidy whities, just like out here.
Oh no, I just had a conversation with someone I keep who discreet. But we were talking about just like women out here, or just women in general, really, and talking about how it seems like women have a lot going on for themselves. Like they have their own plays, successful job, career, own money, car, everything like that. But then they'll like choose a man that isn't necessarily
Befitting
of their
the station.
stature or station because he's showering them with attention.
Mm-hmm.
All I got is attention.
And then it seems like that turns into like this level of bitterness that people are willing to accept, and that's weird to me.
Or the worst case scenario,
Like a
you
lot of
end up
Cleveland relationships seem like these are relationships born out of bitterness. Like y'all settled, and now y'all are bitter about the situation that y'all are inside.
that doesn't normally happen. You know what that also happens a lot in that situation? They get that dude, they tend to build dude up, and then that boy will bounce. It's like, hey, I'm a fully realized person now. You don't fulfill me. It's just like,
Man.
bye.
Well, I did this in my mid-20s, unfortunately, but that's
Stop it.
it's over with now.
It's weird because I'm doing the literal inverse except for with women. It's just like, I'll be like, man, you're a fixer-upper. Fix you
Yeah,
up.
'cause I
Why
was
are you
20
leaving?
I was 25 when I got married, and 24 when I got engaged, so I can use youth as an excuse at that point in my life, so I'm excused. Thanks.
But I don't know. For me, it was literally like, I was literally vexed. It's just like, well, you fixed all the problems.
Yeah, no.
I fixed all the problems for you to then stay
didn't fix
around
all
because
the
all your
problems.
problems are fixed.
I left for them problems. I'm like, oh, I'm not dealing with this shit anymore.
I made you an emotionally complete human being and you just out here
y'all are the
leaving.
same age, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, so.
It's just like me at 25 dating like 22-year-olds or 21-year-olds. Me
Mhm.
at like 27 dating like 23 just out of college. Or
See, yeah, I don't know why you've always skewed. You got to skew older, Charles.
cuz
What the fuck?
arbitrary reasons. I don't know. It's like,
You
I
wanna
don't
tell
really.
you why? Because younger women are fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that the younger women are fun
They're
necessarily.
full of energy. They are. It's full of energy, full of a certain level of like life and enamorment with just like
Moxie.
new things
Mm-hmm.
and like being open. Where older woman is more established and she's like kind of aware of herself, and so she's like,
I'm not
not to
expecting.
give y'all too much credit, but a little more regal in like her countenance. Whereas the younger woman is more like, hey, this shit is good. I'm having a great time.
Until I'm
And
not
the
having a
nigga's
great
like,
time.
oh, we're having a great time too. This is fun. Oh, you're fun. Come here, fun girl. I like you. We fun together. We having
Stop attacking
hella
me.
fun.
I feel it. It's
No,
just
I
like,
told you that I date younger women, so it's not attacking you. It's me expressing why I'm dating a younger woman. Because, hey, like when I was in Seattle and I was dating Little Crazy, and she's a couple years younger than me. I'm not telling y'all her name, and
But the
Little
fact that
Crazy
you
has
just-
always been like her acronym. She know the fact is she knows her nigga name is Little Crazy. It's just crazy as fuck. The fuck? No, I'm not. This
This
is
is crazy.
yeah, no, crazy. No, but yeah, it was because she was vibrant. Like y'all know how I be like in my bag with listening to music and just be having a great time. She just as soon as the song come on, I get in the bag. She hop right in that bag too. Now we both having a great time. She over there throwing ass around in a circle. It's a great time. Now we lit. My girl's over here just randomly twerking. She on the couch twerking now because I'm vibing and having a good time. That's just good energy that she matches. Whoever you're with is gonna, but the younger girl is gonna match your energy. So whatever energy that you're giving her, she's probably matching that same energy. If you're into these anime, she's probably having a great time investing and engaging with them and exploring them with you and everything like that. She's just willing to match your energy a lot more. Then
I've just always been a pretty chill dude, and
And it's always just your priorities. Like clearly for him, fun. For you, definitely more serious.
It's
And it's just your priority.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
why I
you
always think. That's why I always felt like Charles. No, you don't need to date younger women because that's not.
You're not gonna get the thing that you're looking for out of these people.
What you're looking
It's just
for.
like why? It's just like Charles. Why you? It's just like you looking at party girls and like, why are you still partying? I'm obviously a party girl. Stop expecting like you out here expecting blue to be purple. It's not.
Yeah, and that is exactly what it is. It's like so. No, when you just said like, yeah, I date a skew younger, I had to think that don't make sense a lot. Actually.
Yeah.
He should date either his exact age or older. I mean, I don't really like older. Just
29, maybe 28.
No, they get bossy.
No one's gonna tell me what.
Depending on how much older they are, they be trying to talk to you like you a kid. Like, excuse me, madam. Don't make me be rude. But my whole penis was in your mouth.
Baby Kim.
We're peers right now.
And if I'm DJ Khaled, like, we are not peers at all.
Yeah, I'm not your fucking child. You will not speak to me as such. I'm a goddamn peer. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not a but the fact that you put my dick in your mouth clearly means that I'm on a different level than your child. And you will not treat me as such. I'm not doing that with you. I'm not here for them games. I don't like that.
All right.
I experienced that because me and my cousins decided to like be cougar hunters for a while.
You suck my dick.
They're like, I'm gonna fix your life.
We had
You should have just let them pay for your student loans.
That shit was funny.
Now she was complaining about, like she was cool. She just complained about like
student loans.
No, her son.
Student loans.
But that nigga was somewhere during the summer when she was getting dick. I don't know. I wasn't really mine.
You should have just got her to put.
No, that nigga was a teenager. I was.
You should have got her. You should have got her to improve your station, Tony. She could have paid for all the podcast network stuff.
Charles, Tony at that age was like what, maybe 22. Yeah, Tony was smashing and getting the fuck out of Dodge. I wasn't trying to find a chick to improve my station. I was trying to find another cougar so I could be the best cougar hunter in this competition that we had.
Cougar hunter.
Yeah, they said we gonna hunt cougars this summer, and I said, all right, I'm with it. And then at the end of the summer, come to find out, Tony was the only nigga slaying cougars. These niggas didn't do no hunting. I was like, what kind of competition is this?
I should have been getting my station improved.
Why are we playing games?
I won after the first one.
Y'all, basically, y'all niggas are terrible. Why
we just wanted you to have sex with old people, Tony. So that means you would stop gunning for the younger ones.
I was 22, so they were like 34. 34, 36, shit like that. 38. I mean, that wasn't like y'all know the old video I told y'all about, but that wasn't that time. That was a while ago.
Fucking Walmart greeter.
Hey, shut the fuck up. Her
name wasn't that, I don't think.
True, but the fact
that you called it a Walmart greeter was funny as shit.
We're not even going into that.
This nigga fucking hi, welcome to Walmart.
We're not even going into that.
That bitch got like 50 pins on her vest.
Oh my, shut up. Keep your mouth.
This nigga was thoroughly clapping them fucking cheeks.
Oh my God. I hate y'all
doing
so
inside of that unsanitary ass Walmart.
Clapping them cheeks. Oh my God. Yeah,
that
girl.
shit was so
Look
terrible.
at Walmart, right?
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was a weird and awkward
That's
situation.
the reason why you'll go to fucking Walmart. You terrified you go see her.
Clapping them fucking cheeks. He was like, yeah, girl, put the vest on.
Was Charles here when I told that story?
No, whatchamacallit was here. Glasses. What's her name? Alicia was here. And she was the one that was like, this nigga out here fucking Walmart greeters.
Oh my goodness. Crazy. That was ages ago then.
Oh, that's crazy. I'll tell you off mic. It's not a story that I'm going to continuously reshare.
I mean, I pretty much got the entire story as it stands. You out here messing around.
She's joking. That's not what happened. That's not
what happened. No,
yeah, that's a lie. But I'm letting her get it off because it's funny for the show. But yeah, no.
Nope, it's a Walmart greeter. That's what it is in my mind, and I don't need the actual story. The story that I got was probably better than the story I'm gonna get.
I mean, the story that you get is wild.
Oh, I mean, isn't that kind of bog standard for you for some degree? Or is it ahead of the curve for you?
I guess it's pretty standard for Tony if we're
see better story.
If we're judging things. I mean, that's why I let her get it off. It was a great story. I love the Walmart greeter. It's hilarious, but I'm definitely not talking about more of it. But we can go to Ash's topics if we want to.
Right now?
We finished? Oh,
I mean, we
right.
kind of moved off the Tiger Mom shit. The only other shit I was going to talk about is the adults mocking the boy with the mask and his grandmother dying and then being your people, Ash. So you want to talk about your people?
We can talk about them. Yeah.
All right. So there is a young man in what state was he in? Let's see.
It's going to be a lot more eastern and a lot more northern than I want it to be.
He was in Tennessee.
Oh, that's fine. Not fine that he got mocked, but in terms of my overall expectations of the state.
100%.
A teenager in Tennessee went to the Board of Education meeting to speak on students wearing masks. And his premise and statements said that last year his entire school was mandated to wear masks, and in doing that, they were able to contain any outbreaks and
still go to
school for the entire year and finish out. This year with no masks, they've only been open for a month and they've already closed twice. And he said, hey, I'll bring it even closer to home. My grandmother, who is also a teacher at this other school, she just passed away from COVID because someone came into the school who didn't have a mask on. And then as soon as he said that, all the adults told him to shut up. No one wants to hear this. Sit down.
Stop talking about facts.
Yeah, that's like, no, dead ass. A lot of that is the verbatim what they said.
Yep.
Shut up.
Shut up.
We don't want to hear this. No, it was so disrespectful.
It was so
like,
rude.
I mean, for
but
some bizarre
funny.
reason, I feel like he has every
hilarious as fuck.
It's
he should
funny as
identify
shit.
one of the people who said it and just went off the top rope at the Board of Education, hopped on the table, elbow dropped on the old boy's head, like, you gonna talk shit? That was my grandmother.
Yeah, no, it was yeah, crazy. I was like, shut up.
These are the people who are being allowed to propagate within our
You know what they call them behind the scenes.
Bro, they called him all kinds of F words. They were so disrespectful.
But this is a good example. Well, never mind. Let me not say that. I'm not going to say I ascribe to this behavior or that I would even label this
because
allegedly.
I'm homeschooled. I homeschool my kid. I don't have to deal with no Board of Education.
But if we had to say a prime example why we use that word, that might be it. Just a little maybe. Sometimes.
I want to save this video.
I want to allow the purification to continue. I don't know.
But I guess I've actually read an article today about Japan because I'm trying to keep up with the updates to see if I could still go. And it was talking about how this man invested $16 million into whatever he bought a building. And they were saying like, yo, at least have limited amount of tourism coming in the country. Like these guidelines and restrictions are not really making sense. They were saying the science proved that really shutting down and travel bans is not really helping the spread or anything like that. So I do kind of wonder now, is shutting everything down, and you said masks only work the one way. You can, whatever y'all said, I don't remember. Depending on the type of mask, that it works one way. And now he brought up probably an interesting argument in his article. He was like, well, these bans are clearly not working. Like there's going to be spikes. There's going to be this. There's going to be that. So y'all fucking up your tourism. Y'all fucking up your business, morale. People not going to work. He was like, well, is what's really working and what's really not working?
Well, I mean, I would say that guy's kind of wrong because the biggest spike in COVID happened with the Olympics, which was the largest travel that they had towards Japan.
But he also said that other places were open, like you couldn't go to the Olympics, but not schools was open. Other events was happening. So he was like, that don't make no sense. How could you not let the Olympics happen, but other events were happening? The Olympics happened. Or how could you let the Olympics happen, or not have spectators there, but have spectators in other events? Baseball stadiums. That's what it was. He was still allowed to go to baseball games and things like that. He was like, well, these rules don't really make any sense.
Well, because they're all in-house nationals, and the amount of cultural accountability that one has for these things in Japan is different than one has here. Like there was never conversations about whether or not we needed to wear a mask in Japan and not here. Mm-hmm. So when you have this massive event that's going to have a bunch of foreign people coming in and spectating, that's going to be more of a problem because you have a contemporary clashes in cultures. Like when we were talking about the well, we weren't talking about when you guys spoke about the track runner, Sha'Carri Richardson, I think her name was. She got kicked out. She wasn't allowed to run inside the Olympics because she was smoking weed. And we were like, well, that's not that big of a deal here. In Japan, giant deal. So,
but even then, those are still pretty large stadiums that people are still gathering in. And that's just not the one baseball stadium. It's other events there's that I can't
baseball
remember.
huge inside Japan, period. Now, should they be having spectators at those things?
Probably not, but you see the inconsistencies where one thing is not okay.
I'm also not gonna have like a bunch of foreigners come in here, which is what they were saying. Like, okay, they was not acknowledging that you shouldn't do nothing. He was saying like, but we should still have people coming in. He was like, it's a lot of people that made investments and things like that, and we still not allowed in. It was like, well, the science is showing that these lockdowns and these travel bans ain't really helping or working anything. I mean, it worked in New Zealand. It worked in Australia. It worked. It's just not working places where the vaccination's not being rolled out inside the quite
I think
the same
they said
rate.
only like 10% of their population has gotten those vaccines, and it's still, or beforehand, people were doing what they were supposed to do, and then
people laxed up on the back end, which pretty much always happens.
But even then with this school thing, even if they didn't have masks or whatever the fuck was going on, they still got it twice. So I'm assuming that at one point, maybe they did have masks. Maybe they were following cleaning protocol, assuming. But they still had to shut down twice because of an outbreak. So something ain't
because they weren't. Well, this is because they weren't wearing masks.
They shut down twice when they weren't.
Masks, I'm assuming that they were still cleaning things with the whole sanitizing protocol.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Really. Like,
it doesn't.
I can say for sanitizing if you're sneezing. I know inside of Amazon right now, they're not doing any cleaning protocols.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they say they are.
Yeah, they're not. They no longer offer the stuff to sanitize your station and make it a clean and workable, because realistically it's a cost. No one wants to pay this cost, and that's what people are realistically worried about is, hey, I'm losing money. And that's, I guess, what all these arguments sound like. Hey, I put money in and I want to be able to do the things that I want to do, so you guys need to make it better and more equitable for me.
Mm-hmm.
No, fuck you.
And for
if you want it to be equitable and better for you, then have more control, but you don't. So since you don't, this is what it's going to be, and I guess that's how I look at it, because like everybody wants to control. Hey, I put this investment in, and since my money is there, I feel entitled.
Like for Japan, that's never going to fly. They are
entitled to life. All right, well, see how far that gets you.
They're 100% holistic. The society more so greater than the individual. So, so if you look at me like I, as an individual, bought this building and I feel like it was there, they will look at you and say, "That's some tough shit. Go sit down somewhere." Like, honestly, for the most part, we have wonderful social services ad nauseum here, so you'll be all right. You're not going to starve. Kick rocks.
I guess it's entitled to me. It's if people want to do what they want to do, but have no control, that speaks to a level of entitlement to me.
That's true.
I want things to be the way that they used to be. Can you make them be the way they used to be? No. So you want other people to acquiesce to what you want? Yes. All right. Why? What reasons would they acquiesce? Do they care about you? No.
Because
do you have any money? Not enough to make them care. Well, I'm running out of reasons for them to.
I can't breathe in these masks the way I want to.
I don't care. But I guess as like our country is probably one of the few countries that does care. It's like, we're going to start opening up. Like Biden's like, if you didn't get the shot, we're not closing anything down. We're just keeping things open. Mm-hmm. Like that's one of the things he said. And then he also went a step forward and said that all entities that are doing business and engaged, like that are like government entities, have to get the shot to continue to do business with them.
I mean, that's for the most part what he can probably do, not shutting down. But quintessentially,
I mean, so he doesn't want to shut down. So I think that it's just two different schools of thought. Whereas this one is where it's like, sure, you as an individual feel entitled to get as much as you can get, regardless of the situation. So try and do so. And then other places are like, no, we control all gambits of this, and this is how we want it to be over here. So I guess it's
a cultural thing for most part.
But it's just, I guess, when people don't like it, for me, it's like entitlement. You want things to be your way without having done any of the work to
get them to be your way,
get it to be your way, or having the power to make it your way. Like, you don't have to necessarily do the work that people want you to do. If you have the power to say, no, it's going to be this way, then that's what it is.
And there are places that say, well, if you got the vaccine, you can't show up
Like
here.
in Texas when they said, no, women can't get abortions no more for real.
Don't come here.
That's what it is.
Y'all
got 6 weeks.
It's going to cause
You
them.
gonna know you pregnant in 6 weeks? Is that a long enough time? Is that realistically a long enough time? Because in
From
my
what I
head,
understand, no.
I feel like it is. Because everybody keeps saying
from your first period.
Well,
if
they
first
say
miss
that
your
you
period,
know.
then
They say like, well, you probably won't know until you're 4 weeks pregnant. And in my mind, I'm like, all right.
No, you start
cool.
having well, for me personally, I started having symptoms before then, but I just didn't want to. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I'm like, this period thing not coming up. Well, I didn't want to acknowledge it. I'm like, my period ain't come.
You know, they kept saying, oh, women generally don't know until they're 4 weeks pregnant. And my thought process was like,
So it means you got 2 weeks to get this abortion.
You have 14 days to make this decision.
Ooh,
Why
wait.
do you need
14 days to make a life-altering decision.
It's not life-altering.
Yeah, it is.
If you decide to keep it, it is.
Oh, well,
Well,
you're
if you
saying
decide to get
tossing
rid
it
of
to
it,
the
it's
down.
life-altering. There's consequences to that. Nobody ever talks about it, but it's consequences.
Oh, you just got a
There's
kid up.
potential health consequences. You might feel emotionally about it, but if you're so emotionally attached, then why are you deciding to make this decision to get rid of it?
Because this is a complete and total emotional bag, and for the most
Like, what
part,
bag are we coming out of? Like, what are we doing? Like,
I
we
mean, it's
gotta
all
make
an
real
emotional.
decisions.
It's
And-
all an emotional bag. So it's,
No, but that's my issue with it. Y'all want to account for a level of emotionality in this
shrewd decision.
this logical decision. It's going to come down to, do I feel like I'm capable, willing, and
That's-
able to do this? Now, whether you are in a logical and realistic place to do so, it's going to come down to whether you believe in your mind, hey, I'm capable of doing this. Or you believe, I don't want to be pregnant, I don't want a child. But if the alternative is, I don't want to be pregnant, I don't want a child, then I generally kind of don't understand.
How you got here to begin with?
No, I don't care about that. I know how you got here to begin with.
Well,
There was dick and vagina.
it's like,
What I don't understand is your level of like sadness in the situation. You didn't want this, and you don't want the child. And is it that you view this as a kid, and then you're just going against your morality for the sake of? So why would you go against your morality? That doesn't make sense.
Because you be scared. Like
That's
the
dumb.
first.
There's
no,
a
I
whole-
know that's dumb.
But that's why you got 2 weeks. You got the first week to be scared and then start looking shit up and figuring it out.
and then, all right, I'm gonna.
Like, how long do
Oh.
niggas need to be scared?
All right, I'm gonna look at this
What are
from
you
the.
afraid of? You afraid of your thoughts?
Oh,
Like, you pregnant. What are you afraid of outside of your thoughts?
you got a week to be scared or something, nigga? Get the fuck out of here.
You don't have a
You
week.
ain't you still scared of Candyman?
No.
How long?
Not
No,
anymore, but I was.
Yeah, but did it take you a week to get over that fear? It totally didn't.
Not when I was a child, you're right. No, it didn't. as
But a
an
lot of the
adult now,
times, there are
probably
children
would.
kind of making the decisions. Like when you're
You know,
pregnant
even
at
with a
16.
child mentality, like you said, if you under 25, even if you over 25, the niggas still operate with an adolescent mentality. They can't really want it. My fucking parents still haven't grown up emotionally. What the fuck?
I mean, I'm also looking at it in a sense, it's just like the person who is making this decision might not be inside the most culpable situation because your hormones are more than likely all out of whack anyway. So it's like you're sitting there and you're looking at it, it's just like, I need to make this logical decision.
How could you make a
Not
logical
really
decision?
capable of making a logical decision
Not
currently
really.
based on your
Yeah.
current
What the
condition.
fuck you gonna do? This ain't illogical. None of that shit is logical. Me personally,
Unless you just gonna let the dude make the call, and the dude's probably gonna make the call one way
How
regardless.
is it not logical?
Oh, because you're not really capable of making a purely logical decision because your hormones and like your body and pretty much the way
Your
like
hormones haven't really started changing and
Yeah,
really
dude.
getting in their bag.
you change initially because there are entire safety mechanisms the way animals are bred once they get
All right,
pregnant.
well, if you're
they-
incapable of making a sound decision, then during pregnancy,
you should
you're
pretty
not
much
culpable as an adult, and you shouldn't be allowed to make other fucking sound decisions. Let's not do that, because if you're going to make me do that, then I'm going to take it to the logical extreme.
Oh.
Because if you're not culpable to make this decision to have an abortion, then you're not culpable to go buy a car, sign for a house, go get a job, be employed here, and that's why we don't want to employ women, because you're mentally not culpable because your emotionals are imbalanced, so you probably can't handle so stressful situations. You might be impulsive. We don't know what your hormonal imbalance is pushing you towards if that's what we're going to do. So it's either you're
inside of that case, honestly,
you got to be a reasonable
no,
adult or
you
you
probably
don't.
shouldn't be. you probably shouldn't be making long-term decisions out of this point in time because you haven't made it to the long-term decision that you got now.
So you can't buy a house.
Yeah, you can't buy a house because you know what? That's a 40-year commitment. And then you're out here like, oh, 40 years. Well, I can afford this. This is like half of my but I need this house in order to supply for my kids and so on and so forth, and yada, yada, yada. And a lot of what you're coming from, you may not be looking at it 100% logically. Like I need this car to get to my doctor's appointments, and you're signing up for all this shit.
I think women are more. I guess I look at women as more capable.
I'm not saying they're not capable. I'm just saying
that kind of does. It kind of discounts them as being capable people.
No, it's just a very awkward.
How do you feel about that?
I really don't support abortion. It took me a long time to just come out and say it. I don't support abortion. But at the end of the day, people going to do what they want to do. But I don't support abortion because I believe you're just killing a life. And I don't care what other argument everybody got after that one. Y'all can argue it all day what y'all think it is. But for me personally, I just don't. It's nothing in me that just be like, time to kill it. Like, I thought about that when I first got pregnant. But realistically, and I used to be like, well, my mom made me make the decision. Or I used to hint that my mother was responsible. No, she just made me realize the decision I already made. And that was to carry my child and be responsible for it and take care of it. Now, whatever you want to do, I don't even believe I can't even say 100% believe in pro-choice. And I don't have a real argument on this one. So I can't take it to where I can go back and forth. So please don't try. But I don't know. I'm not on the argument that it's not a life, that it's just this clump of cells or whatever everybody want to call it. I'm not on that. It's just not true.
Oh, I don't believe in pro-choice because of that. I just think that if you don't want to be pregnant with this life, then fuck it.
Yeah, I can totally get with that one. But for me personally, I just wouldn't do it.
At nauseum, culturally, black people don't believe in pro-choice at nauseum. Mm-hmm. Majority of the likelihood if a black person gets pregnant, they're going to carry it to term.
If you don't want it, you got your own personal decisions to say, I'm not doing this. Oh my God. This nigga said he got the buy one, get one free cards.
Hey.
Me personally, I just don't
I'm not
understand.
saying it doesn't happen. It's just like it more than likely is from I talk to nurses and things who work inside of these situations.
Me personally, I just don't get it.
And a lot of times it's with the white women's. I mean, that's the conspiracy theory always is. It's just like the percentage of abortions that you get are different inside of different things, and a lot of Caucasians get a lot more abortions, and so on and so forth. So that means they don't want them to kill off quote unquote white babies. That means they want more babies, so thus they're being more restrictive on abortion laws. That's the conspiracy. That's what the conspiracy people say.
Do you think that's true?
I mean, there's a whole lot of people actually really paranoid about the percentage of the white people actually hold inside of America, because if you put all the minorities together, they also are minorities. So that means they look at it and say, if all the minorities just decided to randomly team up and just be like, you know what, we about to aggro, get rid of y'all.
Like were they Avengers or something?
Yeah, quite essentially.
All right.
Like the minority Avengers.
I don't want to be
You
that.
Screwed us all over.
That's not what I want.
We're going to screw you over now. Fuck y'all for real.
But yeah, I guess I'm not. So I'll put it like this. I am pro-choice 150%. And not for the scientific reason, but because I believe that I do what the fuck I want 99% of the time. And no, I do what the fuck I want 100% of the time, especially with my body. So for me to come in and be like, nah, but you guys, something happens with y'all, do what I'm telling you. That's weird to me. It's your body. I have other issues with like women having kids, but it has nothing to do with abortion. It has to do with it does have to do with abortion. It's the fact that men don't have the ability to opt out of parenthood like women do. I think that there should be a mechanism that is engaged for that as well, because I think that would stop a lot of, I think it would increase abortions in the interim, but then I think it would stop a lot of undue pregnancy, because I think people would be a lot more careful just on both ends. Like, hey, both of us can decide, no, we're not doing this.
Mhm.
And so now it's no longer a benefit for anybody to necessarily have this child. It could only be a financial drain if your other partner isn't equally invested in this. And so you need to be like, for real sure now. Because it's not like, hey, I can get pregnant, and even if he don't want to be here, I'm going to make him financially culpable for this situation. No, he's going to sign something that says he's not. And then now both of y'all have to be adults and say, hey, I don't really want to be a parent with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we'd make good co-parents. I don't want to be a single parent either. So I'm not going to make this decision. So I think it would be a lot of abortions in the beginning because people's like mentality wouldn't have shifted. But I think that once you...
there's going to be a course correction.
Yeah, there's going to be a course correction because it's going to be like, hey, this is not something that we're trying to really fuck with. And so we're going to have to choose men or just women that are more invested in aligned with what we want to do. So that's where I'm interested in. But other than that, like if you want to get an abortion, I think it's your body, get one. If you don't want to get an abortion, again, it's your body, don't get one. I don't tend to argue with people who aren't pro-choice because I recognize that, hey, if it's a religious reason why you're not pro-choice,
there's not a
lot that I can really have. There's not a logical argument that we can have. If you just don't feel like it morally, again, it's not a logical argument that I can have with you because it just, again, for your morality and your compass in life, that doesn't feel right for you. So me trying to argue with you about your compass in life isn't, it's going to make me frustrated.
I don't, I can't argue because arguments are based on logic. And at this point, I can't pick apart your illogical thing.
Yeah, you started off with saying, hey, this isn't based in logic.
It's just like,
me to come with it with like, well,
science says that, like pretty much what you said, as this is how I feel.
Yeah.
Well, no matter how much science I throw at your feelings, that's not going to change your feelings.
And I recognize it's just a me thing. I'm not, no person has ever gotten an abortion. I'm like, you dirty bitch. It's nothing like that. It's just me personally. I couldn't do it.
I don't know that many women who also go around advertising that they had an abortion because I feel like it's viewed with some degree of stigma or negativity.
I feel like sometimes it might be a little too casual on both ends. Like if you choose to get an abortion, why is it not like mandatory that you go talk to a therapist about it? Regardless if you felt guilty about it or not. Can you talk to somebody about it?
But why?
I think they have therapy and mechanisms within
Planned Parenthood. Why should I have to go speak to somebody about this personal situation?
No, you don't have to. Well, I guess it don't have to be mandatory.
Well, it's
it doesn't have to be mandatory, but is it a choice?
Like if someone gets raped, it's like, oh, you got to go to mandatory therapy. What if I don't want to relive this?
Okay, mandatory is not one, but is there a place
there
where
should
it's
be a
like,
mechanism that should be available that you should talk?
Like widely available. Like even if you didn't feel any sort of guilt. Okay, cool. But if you do feel a way about this, where is it? Well, or even if you do sort of have a child.
And see, I guess that's where you sound like you're more pro-choice than not. But you want people to have the resources to be educated and understand the choice.
Yeah, because even if you have a child and say you do end up in a situation where you're a single parent, it's no support for real.
Well,
it's
see, I think that we'd be more aligned than like you and like the Texas people because they're just like, no, we're not going to give you the resources. And our goal and how we're going to stop undue pregnancy is we're going to get rid of rape.
Yeah.
What?
What do you mean get rid of rape?
Yeah. In Texas, rape is illegal and we're going to make it our number one priority to stop rape. Sir, that is not
the way that works.
It's not like stopping a fire. There's no like, fire prevention is a real thing.
You could argue it is like,
no, it's not. There's no like rape prevention.
Well, you could literally sit there and look at everybody here. It's just like, so all you people who want to stop rape, raise your fucking kids correctly and teach them.
That ain't rape prevention.
Yeah, it is.
It's not. No,
teaching your kids to be moral and accountable to people.
Not at all, because even if you teach somebody to be something
doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be that. But
not at all. People are people, and rape isn't necessarily always about like sexuality or moral. Sometimes it's a chemical imbalance, and their mental health issue leads them to aggression, which leads to rape because it's about power and dominance for that one person. So it's a spectrum of things. So the fact that y'all are like, hey, we're going to get rid of rape. Don't make no fucking sense.
I mean, the thing is, they're not going to get rid of rape. They're going to increase the repercussions for raping people.
But that's not the same thing.
I understand that. But most people view penalties as prevention, but penalties only come in after the thing has happened. It's
after you rape them people, you're going to get in real big trouble.
It's like, it's the Minority Report
so you
problem.
got to catch me. You know that, right? I'm not gonna rape said girl. Walk into your station and be like,
hello.
hey, I'm the rapist.
I did it.
Take me to jail. What the fuck is wrong
Why
with
was the
y'all?
dance necessary, Tony?
Because I feel like that's what
like,
they think. You just shimmied all into the fucking thing like, hey, I
He
just
had a
did this
bow
naughty
on.
thing.
I don't know.
And I want y'all to arrest me. Like, how do y'all just plan to get rid of fucking
I have
rape?
committed this crime.
It's so fucking asinine to me. It's like,
we're like, what are y'all?
you can't get rid of rape.
Oh,
That still makes
it's
sense.
sad
Now,
for Texas
we would
because
want to live in a world where there's no rape.
Mhm.
ideally we would like to live in a world where a lot of these things that we're forced to penalize people for don't happen. But there wouldn't be. You know what why laws happen? Because other things happen that brought it up. It's just like, hey, we probably need a standard penalty on the books for this. It's just like in the amount of laws that we have, apparently people be out here doing some real fugazi ass shit.
Yeah, people are wild to each other.
It's just like, so
No, you can't imprison somebody.
yeah,
You can't go and take somebody from where they were at and take them to somewhere else against their will. That's kidnapping. What are you doing?
no, you can't smuggle these people from other countries into our country.
No, you can't steal somebody out of their house in bed and send them to a whole new place.
No, you can't stab this person to death.
Yeah, but the fact that we need laws for this, what it's just not like, hey, no, this is not an acceptable thing.
This ain't really.
But yeah, we have laws for these things because, a lot of people are like, I'm going to just go and do that.
It's just like, no, you can't have this open bottle of
But these
alcohol
laws
while you're
aren't
driving.
To stop them, these laws are to say, hey, when they do happen, we're going to punish them. But there's no preventative measure. So
Sometimes the law is enough to persuade.
at least you see
prevent some people
more,
tenable.
I guess, tenable, because they're like, no, you just, you pregnant?
Keeping it, bitch.
Keeping that shit.
I mean, like, for me, it's the 6 weeks. I'm like, I don't understand why 2 weeks is not enough time.
Because
to make a
I'm not an
decision.
the
emotional
argument
person.
is always that not every single woman is as regular as every other woman. So sometimes,
the whole argument has been, like, what I've been watching the news is them talking about women being pregnant and it taking, and generally, since they're like, you don't know right when you're pregnant, and an average time, most women are generally going to know at 4 weeks. And how are y'all giving people 2 weeks to decide on life? And when they kept saying that, I was like, 2 weeks is a long, that's half a month. You got half a month's worth of time.
Was it half a month?
I don't know. I mean, it really just depends upon person to person.
Yeah, so
like,
me,
with
I
my
was like, am I insensitive? Because that's why I was like, it's cool that we got here. Because I was like, I was going to ask Ash about this. Am I insensitive? Because I feel like 2 weeks is adequate amount of time for you to make this decision.
I mean, I know some people who
I don't think that Texas should have made a decision because their shit is like also attached to like if you are raped and things like that. My nigga, if I was raped, maybe the first thing in the first month and a half worth of time that I'm worried about isn't whether I'm pregnant or not. It's what the fuck is going on with me? Do I got any diseases?
Man.
Maybe I want to go to mental health and like have some therapy. Now I need to have therapy because I'm pregnant and I have some trauma because I'm pregnant with a nigga that raped me. That gives me trauma. Like I got some other things
and
to
then
work
you're gonna
through,
make me have this
but
child.
now I got to make this decision in 6 weeks. That's something that you probably need a good little while to think about and like process because that's a traumatic situation. But if you fuck Bob and you and Bob was cool and you got pregnant by Bob,
And you got a oopsie.
yeah, what the fuck is after two weeks do you need to think about?
I didn't.
I'm so confused. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe I'm fucked up.
I mean, we just never been inside the shoes of a woman inside of this type of situation. So that means I don't know. Because well, you said you were inside of a bit of denial with your child. So it's just like,
Yep.
Denial requires recognition because you have to deny it. It's like, there's some amount of culpability in that because you're like, nah, that's not happening. But at least you put some degree of thought into it.
Yeah,
I don't know if every
something
single
ain't
woman, every woman goes into deny when you first have a child.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do agree with Tony that 2 weeks is enough time. But also, I could see how someone sees it's not enough time. So it depends on. I don't know.
I mean, you can teach every single nurse in the world. Tony's flip a coin.
Or nah.
Teach every single nurse in the world. Tony's flip a coin trick.
But that's also
like,
just go somewhere else. I don't know if you don't want it that bad. You get rid of it.
Tails, you don't flip it. You're keeping the child. No, I don't want no baby. Well,
Got
into the abortion line you go.
Yeah, because if you flip a coin and that's why I like flipping coins. Because if you flip a coin and it makes a decision and you instantly have a visceral negative reaction to what the coin just decided for you, you know that what you really want to do is the opposite shit. So go do the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Once people have this decision taken from them, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna flip the coin for y'all, and we're gonna do this. They're like, no, I don't want that.
Yeah, because I think like maybe
What do you want then?
like you said, maybe a week or so. I was like, yeah, no, this is happening. I was just cool. Like it was no more fighting after that one. It was like, oh yeah, this is happening.
You know, or once you don't know, you decide, nah. But I feel like
I can see where you're coming from now. Yeah, because if you really do know if you want this motherfucker or not,
you just like, know. After that, we playing around. Like, you arguing with the nigga. What you want to know is if this nigga going to be involved in your life or y'all going to be in a relationship. And that's not anything to do with you.
If I'm going to be real, if you have to ask that question, I feel like your lightweight already know the answer to it.
Hey, but women don't want to acknowledge that.
Are you going to be involved inside of your child's life?
Hey, the fact is,
it's just like if you have to ask that question, it's like you have a whole nother problem.
Well,
I hate to tell you that. I hate to point out the random inadequacies inside the system that you would participate yourself, the nigga that you tried to start messing with. But for real, if you don't know, he probably don't know, and if he don't know, the answer probably just is no. Maybe he'll change his mind when he's just holding a little thing. It's just like, oh, it's a baby. I helped make this thing.
Maybe, but that shit don't happen. Like
it's just like, all right, hold on. I'm about to go outside. I'm about to go get a smoke. Why did you have to burn out? Why did you have to burn out in the parking lot?
So they know I'm not gone. I don't want them to think that I'm coming back. I need them to know that they need to get an Uber. I took the car.
Why you blasting Drake and Future on the way out here?
I'm just letting you know.
I took the car.
Yeah.
You don't need no children.
Who is burning out inside the middle of the thing? They look down from the hospital room. You wave bye-bye for them.
Yeah, if anybody was asking if Tony needs children, this is the definite one. Like,
my name is Omar.
I do.
You don't need any children. You cold as fuck.
If that was the motif, then yeah, I'm definitely letting you know.
This nigga cold. His ice.
I don't know. Tony seems like the type of person who would try for single parent householdship, except for he would be the person with the child.
When we first started on the podcast, this nigga was on a mission to have a baby, not get married or have a baby, but he just was like, I want to have a baby. Oh, and
no, I'm still on that.
Oh yeah, and it didn't matter. Like I was like, oh, did you find a suitable birth woman?
Yeah,
He was like, yeah.
There are a lot of suitable women to give birth, not of suitable parents.
No, I find suitable mothers. Fuck you talking about? I find suitable women to mother my child. Not just conceive that motherfucker, to actually mother. Because when I was younger, I'll admit I wanted to be a single parent. I wanted to have my kid. I wanted the woman to just go away. I recognize that society don't really give it up like that. Won't really just give me my kid. So I went on.
Give me my kid.
Yeah. So I went on to figuring out, all right, how can I
gotta get this to work.
Make sure that the woman is also
tenable,
a great person to be a mother. So I'm still fully committed to it. I want a kid.
I
don't know if I dated.
All right then.
Yeah,
that's a weird thing to say. I don't know if I dated a woman that I would want to be the mother of my children.
Oh, well then you need to stop fucking with these bitches.
Like now that you said that, it's just like no, I haven't dated anyone that I would want to mother my children. They all got all these psychological issues.
So Charles, why are you dating them?
Didn't we go through this already?
No, you didn't tell me you was dating the women that you didn't want to fix things. So you didn't see a future with the thing you fixed?
I mean, I try to see a future once they're fixed, but then they'd leave. They'd be out there flying the coop.
Have any of the ones that have been fixed? Have you kept your eyes on? Do they still seem fixed?
Yeah, they seem like holistic people to the point where they've actually confronted a lot of the problems that they've had. I mean, is their life perfect? No, but are they better people?
Do they seem like Do they seem like the mother of your children candidates?
If you had to think about it, Charles.
Probably not.
Probably not.
So why are you using my rule against me?
So it didn't matter whether they were holistic or not, Charles. I'm just saying you wasn't picking bitches to have your kids.
But I also wasn't really trying to have kids.
Issues. They can be sad. They can be depressed. I know that they still gonna make a good mama. I know that. All the gamut. I run the gamut from a specific period in time. I was only dating women that would make a good mother.
It's like, yeah, look at you with your motherly instincts.
No, that's not sexy. But also, I do need to know the fact that
You out here baking. What you do?
I'm also upfront with the woman. Hey, no, I want a child.
I want a baby. This nigga was so. I forget who he was dating at the time. I want a baby. Get her pregnant. What the fuck?
Is that a scary thing to say to a woman as opposed? Because I know that that's
this nigga was saying that. I understand why I bet you like, oh. Pause.
I mean, I know that's a terrifying thing for a woman to say to a man on the first date.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Good.
I mean, that was a statement. There's no conversation about this. I want a baby. There we go.
No, it's not hurry up. I'm letting you know, hey, I want a baby. You don't have to be the woman to provide it. But if you're not looking to be the woman to give me my child, I probably am not interested in this situation in the long term. Mm-hmm. So we can just...
We had some fun.
No, we can move on.
Oh, that's right.
I'm going to have a child.
Tony's in pure long term, like.
Yeah, but that's how I've been. Like, I'm not.
Baby.
If this is not a long term tenable situation, I'm not wasting my time.
If I can't view you as long term, even if it don't end up being long term, I at least got to see the potential in you. If I can't see the potential in you, then I'm not fucking with it. For what? That seems like a waste of my time. I'm not going to date you at least. Like, we can be friends with benefits. I've done that plenty of times, but you can't be my girlfriend. You can't be like the person that I'm dedicating my time, energy, resources, thoughts, emotions, and
I'm not going to make you any better.
To. No, I might. No, I'm still a dope ass nigga, so I'm going to help try and improve you. But but on my terms, when I don't want to, I won't be. When I'm focused on this, that's what I'll be doing. When I don't want to answer the phone, I won't. I'm not at any level attached or beholden to you. You don't hold any sway in my life because you don't have a status. We share coitus and good times.
Coitus.
That's about it. And sometimes these times ain't good. So it's just coitus. And I want to go home. I don't know. We gonna go to Ash's topic?
I don't know. Are we?
She got greatness and what else was you talking about? Perfection.
The P's.
Perfection, prostitution, and procrastination.
Okay.
There we go.
Perfection, prostitution, and procrastination. How do we feel about these 3 P's?
The 3 fucking P's. Anyway. Going to start out with a story, but it wasn't about that, guys. It was about
them drinking up all my burners.
Perfection. Can we pause? I gotta go tinkle.
Trust it. Space bar can't be trusted. But for real, most people are religious inside of their own way because most people pick and choose the things that they're in their religion that they're going to follow. And like, this is the reason why all these things are arbitrary. Why aren't we stoning these people?
Is it still recording?
Now it's recording.
Oh.
She seemed so confused. She said,
no, because I thought when he clicked it, it stopped it. No, that's why he was upset.
It didn't start it.
Man, I was about to get a 3-second nap in.
But yeah, no, we should be stoning people for wearing different textures inside of inside of their clothes. We shouldn't be fucking with no cloven-hooved animals. By the way, there are more cloven-hooved animals than people think that there are because goats count as cloven hooves. That means we shouldn't be eating those either. There's a bunch of stuff that we should be doing. But we don't. So that's the other thing, depending upon the religion. Not it like the primary religion, like they don't even man.
Anyway, so we're supposed to be going to Ash's topic.
Topic today.
I'm just looking at my own decision making choices and God, I am so bizarrely happy. It's just like, man, that was a whole blender I was willing to stick my hand into just to get to the other side.
Yeah.
It's just my goodness.
Yeah. Ash told you.
She did.
About what?
You know what?
Who did I text?
She doesn't know. Oh. Do you know?
Yeah. We were all down here.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah, no, I'll show you. It don't matter.
Hold on, pause.
No.
What happened?
No.
Oh, wait. What?
Just a person.
Okay. I knew he was texting.
No, but that's who he's talking about sticking his hand
in a blender. Whole blender.
Anyway.
I just want someone to love me for me.
What are we talking about, Ash?
Fuck that hoe.
Why are you like, all right? No, for real. All the women inside of my life, period. Mm-hmm. Even her, are apparently very, very protective of me.
It's like, because, all right, talk about it vaguely. In the beginning, I was like, oh, maybe he ain't just, get it. After a while, I should have just said something sooner, like, I don't think this is it.
Well, no, even at nauseum, like all the women in my life are. It's just like the women that break your heart. We all gonna come together, or we gonna jump that bitch. Like what?
I believe in you. I don't believe in many men, but I believe in you. I believe in you. I really. When I say I believe you're gonna be a great husband, great partner, great father, I really mean that shit.
I know you're not necessarily blowing smoke
and
up my ass.
And I have to protect this. You bitches is out here. That's why I agree with him. Like you should date a little bit more to get acclimated with how these hoes be running. Because I don't fuck with these hoes fucking with you, okay?
See, you don't get all the way like me. Tony took it to a too far extreme, but now Tony be jaded in a certain instance and just be doing wild shit.
Yeah. So, and I'm not telling you that is experience. I just is like, yeah.
Bruh, I used to be the person that dated women that were cheating on their husbands and boyfriends. That gives you a complex when you're dealing with a woman and she then tells you, well, I love you, I care about you, I want to spend my life and have a future with you.
Bitch, how? See?
All the other women said this to they niggas and then my dick was in their mouth. So
I'm not telling you
how
to be
this
that.
Really makes
I can't trust
sense.
you.
Obviously, like, it's your choice. Like, you got a good head on your shoulder where you saying, I'm trying to go into this shit right. Now, I admire that a lot about you because a lot of niggas at your age just don't have that. They don't have it. And I'm not saying that they should or not.
That surrounded me. Like I've seen different examples. Like I've seen bad relationships and I've seen good relationships. And I've seen the one, like a relationship that I really like, but it's not really like the aunt uncle that I often go over for barbecues for Labor Day and shit like that. I like their relationship, and the best like advice that I've ever gotten from him, period, my uncle, was like, okay, both people have, but in a relationship, most people say relationships are 50-50. That's not the way it works. It's actually 100-100. Both of you have to be putting your all into a relationship at all given times, because if you're both 50-50 and anyone comes short, the world doesn't work in the fact that it's just like, if you don't pay 100% of your bill, you late. Mm-hmm. And marriage kind of works the same way. If you're not 100% there, that means you're lacking in some type of way, and the relationship could fail because you are lacking. But if you're both giving 100% at all times, if you have an over, it's just not that big a deal.
See, that's really admirable to me. I respect that shit 100%. And these bitches that don't respect it, they can get the fuck out the way.
Yeah, see, Charles, I didn't get to that point of let's go all the way in and give it our all. Mm-hmm. Until much later in life.
Yeah.
Tony was like, I was wide open and didn't really know what I was doing, and then got my little feelings hurt, and I was like, okay, well, so this is how women behave as well.
Yeah, and you see how you just still have that open heartness a little bit. I just agree with him, like, just date a little bit to get acclimated, so that way you're not like, well, why are they doing this? They should be doing this. It's not so black and white sometimes. That's not...
I will admit even though I've had dating experience and stuff like that is still a little bit of the me and me.
Yeah, I know. And at that point,
I'm never going to be able to supplant, like when I'm looking at something and they're doing something that's obviously wrong, and I'm just looking at them like,
that's why I say
doing the wrong thing.
That's why I say it's nothing major that's like, oh, this nigga. It's just like the little tiny thing, but that's like a personal opinion. I 100% like, yo.
And I don't know why I get this like little head swerve like kite where it's just like, nigga, what are you doing?
And that's perfectly fine. If that's just something that you do, then, go after it. But you are very admirable to me. And I would hate that these hoes would try to hurt you. I should have said something sooner. We was always talking about it, but I'm like, oh, you should be fine. And
nothing particularly bad happened, but also I'm not the type of, the thing I learned, I cannot be upset for people just being who they are and me not saying it because that's a me problem, not a them problem.
And I also understand that sometimes it's just hard to let go of stuff. I've been there where it's hard. You don't know why. You're like, well, why am I still stuck on this? It's just hard to let go of some situations other than others. Believe me, I've been there. That's why I say Charles is going to make an excellent partner because he got all the core shit that you would want in a good man anyway. So don't get me wrong.
Also, I have this thing about becoming disenchanted with things over time. Like once the varnish wears off and I'm to the point where I know what it really is, it's just like, oh, this is disappointing. Thought I was getting this is literally just gold plated. This is like a gold plated iron ball.
Hey, and we all been there where sometimes you just get stuck on shit. Like it happened. It happened to me and I hated myself for it.
I mean, now we're cool, but it's like, I don't know.
Now you see a little bit, let's put the glasses off.
But the only thing that possibly is going to upset me that now that I'm not being as acute or as like invested, is I already know the likelihood that I'm going to be re-engaged is probably a lot higher now.
Oh, really?
Because that's the way. Yeah, that's just the way these things work. I've seen it happen before, but once I've disengaged all the way. It's just like, well, what are you doing? Blah 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 blah. I don't care.
Charge that hoe to the
I am. What are you doing? I'm doing what I want.
No, they cannot.
What you should have been doing.
Listen, charge that hoe to the game. Somebody out there. But they keep fucking with you. I'm just like, I ain't got no respect. I ain't no respect for no bitch that's just... Anyway, so what am I talking about?
But about these 3 P's, persistence, perseverance, and patience.
What?
Perfection.
Why y'all... Perfectionism, patience, and people-pleasing.
People-pleasing. Oh.
Anyway, I'm going to start
Those are 3 very different things.
No, not to me, actually. I feel like they all kind of in tandem. Because think about it. If you didn't... What are you trying to be perfect for? Are you trying to please somebody else or are you trying to please yourself? And now do you have the patience in perfectionism? Is it driven off of impatience, really?
Oh, these are correlation things, not as individual concepts.
Yeah, we can explore all 3 of those. Now that, I'm going to come where it came up last week because I was looking up something and I was like, perfectionism. I think we all kind of would consider ourselves perfectionists sometimes, even if
everyone's a perfectionist inside their own field, more than likely.
Yeah, so mine's came about is I think the last couple weeks I've been feeling like, especially like when I came back from the trip, it was almost like it didn't feel like an apathy, but I guess the goals that I had suddenly became kind of not frivolous, but I didn't feel as driven to accomplish them anymore. And I'm like, who cares? I don't know what it happened to it. It was just like, well, what's the point? Like, even with weight loss, when I was walking up this hill, and I remember like driving past this hill so many times where I would look at these runners running up and down it. And I was like, damn, I wish I could be one of them. And until recently, I finally walked up that hill. I didn't run, but I did walk. And I remember getting down about myself, like people running past me up this hill or running down. Then it hit me like, you up here with them. You're not in your car daydreaming about it anymore. You know, why you keep beating yourself up over this stuff? And from then on, it was just like, well, are these goals like, what am I really trying to perfect? Am I trying to perfect what's really intrinsically inside me, or did somebody else give me these goals? Because clearly somewhere inside of me, not because I looked at the scale and said, I don't ever want to be that big anymore. And I haven't been feeling myself in pictures and anything like that. It just got me thinking, is this dream that I have of this like body or anything that I do, is it really given to me? Or did I really have this one on myself? So in terms of perfectionism, what dream are we really perfecting? Do y'all feel like whatever you pick up, is it really like, how do I ask this?
I feel like I can already kind of answer the question, but for me, it's just, I am always trying to become the best version of me that I possibly can be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily for anyone else. It's for me. Because who else cares about... I mean, I would say unless you have some really altruistic people within your life. Like I would say my sister, my mother, my father, grandmother, family members, they want me to become the best version of me that I possibly can be.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, I would like to say all my friends want the same thing. I would like to say, and then everyone else, that's probably, there's no way that they want the same thing, because majority of people, the only way I interact with everybody else is like if they generally want something from me, or how I interact with the edges I run into them at. So it's like, I don't know, that's just the way I view perfection as it is now, because perfection as a concept is fine. Perfection as a goal is basically impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So
then what are we working for if we can't get to this perfected life, even if what your perfect life is not so perfect to somebody else? Because obviously our 3 definitions of what a perfect whatever look would be entirely different. Like, your perfect life is different than Charles's, and Charles is different than mine. So what keeps you motivated to even keep striving for that perfect whatever goal that you're looking for?
I'm motivated because of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
what happened when you ain't enough? Like, I feel like I'm not enough to even get these goals. But what, like, if you just feeling down on yourself?
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at what I feel like Tony's reaction is more so. It's just like, what have I never been enough not to motivate me?
that was the dead ass my thought. It's like, well, that's not enough for me.
I got other problems if that's the case.
I am my full totality. Like,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, everything is for me, for my growth, my benefit, my happiness, my forward motion. Like, all of it is in tandem. None of it is outside of me. Me working out and like people saying like, "Oh, your arms are much bigger" or shit like that. Like, that's cool, but realistically, I like to work out.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy being in the gym. I enjoy doing that. Or I enjoy writing. Like, I set the goal that I want to write this book inside this month, or this 3 months for the summer. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing the things, and I don't ever care about what anybody else is doing. Sometimes I get down on myself where it's like, I was literally just having a conversation where I was kind of down on myself, where I was like, I don't want to be a bum, and I got to make a couple of different moves to make sure that I'm not a bum. And the other person's like, you're never a bum. And I was like, nah, I feel like a bum, because I was like, I don't have my own place, and I don't have just certain different things that if you look around could be like check boxes that you're supposed to have at a certain time frame and shit like that. And so for a second, sometimes that will like play in my head. Yeah, it'll just stick in my head. But it's also like, well, realistically, I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, yeah, all the check marks are things that people say you should have, but you don't really want any of those things, because what that comes with ain't just that. It's that plus
other
all
stuff.
of these other
Riders that you don't want,
and conditions that are now bound to this decision you made. And so you got to look beyond like shit. Baby Keem said it in the Family Size song. What's the cost of this next check?
Mm-hmm.
What's the pros and the cons? Like, what is the value of this check? Like, is it gonna be worth it to take that, or is what comes with this so controlling or so shackling that it's not gonna really make me feel good? And so I guess I probably gained a lot of perspective when I joined the Air Force, because that was probably the most extreme situation you can put yourself in, where you don't, outside of like going to prison, where you have no control over your life. And you don't have a way where you can just like say, hey, I'm leaving. You can't just quit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, there's a grace period where you can get out.
Yeah.
But that's during basic training. Once you get through basic training and all that and swear again, you're in. Now you're in your job, and now we've really like put money into you. You're in.
I mean, once you're in, it's restrictive, but I mean, depending upon what you're doing, you're basically working a 9 to 5 with more interpersonal, with more actual enforced structure.
Not really. It's restrictive in all ways. So sure, you're working a 9 to 5.
But you also can't take the days off that you want.
No, but not even that. Let's say you go on vacation let's say you save up 2-3 weeks worth of vacation. You go on vacation. Let's say on week 2 of your vacation, you get into a car accident. Guy gets out of the car, is aggressive, starts trying to assault you. You defend yourself. Now you've been in an assault with somebody else. And you're not gonna catch a case or anything like that. But that would just be a occurrence. You would handle it, and then you would go back to work after your vacation is over, and you would just live life, right?
Yeah, the military doesn't work like that.
No, this now is something that can be adjudicated in a military court, and you could be subject to lose your freedom, your income, your rank. So no, at all moments of your life, is it under control, and you have to operate with a certain level of, regardless of what other people are doing, I have to be doing this. And I have to always be aware of, hey, if somebody else is aggressive, that still could be look bad at it on me. So it's not quite the same as working a 9 to 5, because your entire life. And so once I recognized that, and I realized, my whole life, everything I do, every part of me is controlled by them. When I wake up, when we go to bed, all of it. That's weird.
Yeah, there's a whole different level of accountability, because it's just like, well,
whole different level of control.
Yeah, it's just like, because you can't come into work on time, we're giving you a curfew instead of just firing you. Like, nah, you get a curfew.
Yeah, now you have a curfew.
You got to be on base by this time.
Yeah. So once I had that, I recognized that doing it for anything other than self, that ain't it for me. That is the one time that I felt like a full scope of anxiety and depression and shit like that's like where it first hit and shit. So I was like, no. So at this point, everything is in line to make me happy. Like I did the Air Force thing, which has set me up for the long haul with being financially secure. Mm-hmm. I went to school and got a degree, so anytime that I need to increase my income, I have something that I can utilize to go into a workforce and still make a reasonable amount of money. And as long as I continue to stay inside the workforce, dipping in and out, my work history will stay pretty current, and I won't ever fall out of that
unemployable range.
Yeah, the unemployable range.
Because I think if you don't have a job for 3 or 4 years,
you start to those skills. They start to look at what skills do you really have? Because you knew that stuff, but you ain't really applied anything. What have you been doing? Because if you ain't really working on stuff, you probably lost some of this stuff. You don't remember it. And I can attest to that being true, because there's a lot of stuff inside of being an insurance agent that I just don't remember.
There's something. Yeah. It's just not everything is a. I'm lucky with my field to the point where I can do things outside of work, to the point where I can prove that I've still been applying this skill set.
Most jobs you can create different projects and stuff like that. There's a whole GitHub where y'all can go and have and show, hey, this is the project that I've been working on while I haven't had a consistent job, but these are some of the things that I built and created. But no, I can't be hey, I ain't sold insurance in 4 or 5 years, and I want a job. Now, I don't know what y'all be doing in the insurance business now, but I used to be the nigga in that. And so that's not the life that I want for myself. So I guess for me, I do it for self. I'm enough because I already know that I can reach perfection, because perfection is me achieving my goals. It's not writing in a way that is most acceptable to everybody else, or having a certain level of acclaim, even though those things would be nice, but it's definitely more based on the fulfillment. I'm happy with what the things I'm doing. So as long as I achieve the goals that I want, then that's perfection to me. And so I think that you can achieve perfection. People just say you can because it's easier to be well, no, you can't achieve perfection. And so you can be lazy and then choose not to go for it. What is your definition of perfection? Can you make your life perfect? What are the things that you want? If you get all those things, then why is your life not perfect? Sure, but if perfect to you means there is no level of hardship,
or there's no downside to any of the things that
then
you're
maybe
doing.
that's why people say that it can't be perfection, but I recognize that everything is going to come with like a level of like
There's gonna be some writers or some things.
some depressiveness, some like shit, this is hard. Doing this is hard. Like we're 3 different people that got to come together and engage and do that and balance each other's energy and come and
idiosyncrasies,
all of that,
and be able to interpolate one another and just be like and know how each other are. Because that was basically me knowing that Tony was gonna say I'm enough. Because it's like I know you well enough to know that that's what you're gonna say. But there's also some times where it's just like he has idiosyncrasies.
But I definitely think that
me.
people feel like they aren't enough, and I don't think that is like a detractor on them. I guess I think that it depends on
how you evaluate your life.
Not even that, how you evaluate the things that you want. If your evaluation also includes a level of like the world around you, then sometimes you may not be enough, because sometimes the world around you has certain access to resources that you don't have.
I mean, there's going to be always someone with more resources or more something than you do.
But I don't think that is like, I recognize that some people, it's natural for them to look at the other person. Shit, it's natural for me to look at other people and be like, and like I said, it's really hard. Like, shit, I had to work to not look at my cousin when he bought his house and be like, damn, why am I not going on that path and doing that right now? That's not what you want. You don't want to be tied down with that. At this point, you have other things and ideas that you are focused on. Okay.
Yeah, but that's not always just there. It feels like your goal is not like your goal is invalidated, but it feels like, I don't know, when one light is shining really bright, it doesn't feel like your light is shining as bright because it feels like it's overshadowing it a little bit.
So I definitely felt like, damn, am I inadequate because I didn't go do the same thing? But it was like, well, is that what you were attempting to do? No.
And why would you get those results?
Attempted to do? Yes. All right. Well, why are we upset about this? I don't know. And if I can lead myself to, well, I don't really know why I'm upset because it's not the result I was attempting, I don't want to be upset. Like, I feel like you should be like, fuck yeah, I just walked this hill. Because that was your goal. Your goal is, hey, I want to get to the top of the hill. You did that shit. Fuck these bitches that's running. They ain't me. Oh. But I also recognize that if you don't come over from a perspective of I'm already full enough, which isn't always everybody's perspective, because I think that's uniquely generally how I come, and I recognize that's probably not how most people operate.
True. I mean, I guess my mentality more so just comes from martial arts and understanding. It's just like the punch can always be crisper. Everything can always be done to a degree that's better than what you got. But you know what you're doing is probably better than what you were doing like a belt rank ago. So stop looking at your end result of perfection and looking at the path to perfection being the method.
That I can agree with. Like, looking at the end result before putting in the work, that used to make me super frustrated that I wasn't there already.
Actually,
that used to make me miserable. It's like, but I was like, bro, you're looking at other entities and things that are like that have put in 3, 4, 5, 6 years, 7 years, decades worth of work, and you like on year 2, I'm not there. Sir, you have work to do. You have foundation to lay and grinding to do, to be looking at the end result and then being frustrated that you're not there is... That
Wild.
shit had me doing crazy shit. That shit had me buying business cards and filing for businesses with no work going into it. No idea what I was going to do. Nigga, I have a whole company, tax ID and everything like that in Seattle.
But
I never did anything, pay for all that shit, never had no idea what the company was actually going to do.
Because there is some perspective.
I said, I would market to other companies and create that.
Like, oh, no, I just got it.
Because I felt like I needed to have the company, and that was like a perfection to me. And it's like, but bro, you just doing this thing isn't really you putting in the work. And so I guess that's what I look is like you being able to attain perfection. You got to put in the work. And so, like, shit, you going up the hill is you putting in the work.
Yeah.
So it's like, A book I read a couple of times. There was a character and her name was Addie, and then the main character's name was Volt. And she was speaking to him, and it was just like, well, it feels kind of stupid because I'm kind of stumbling at the base of the mountain, and you're already halfway up the mountain. And he was like, well, I'm stumbling on this part of the mountain too. Like you're gonna stumble the entire way up the mountain, and there's nothing about it is gonna look perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But like looking at them and saying, damn, they're better than I am, and they're better than I am because they're halfway up the mountain, is I feel like it kind of undermines to a certain degree the work that they had to do in order to get up that mountain to begin with. It's not like they started up there. You started at the same place more than likely, especially when it comes to like particularly personal fitness. It's like, no, not everyone has the same general level of athletic ability.
Fuck undermining their work. Who cares?
Because it's like everybody has to put in work. Some people
so caring.
I mean,
he'd be looking for the clips in the gym for all the other machines that ain't ours that we work at all. I'd be like, Charles, you're still stuff. He's like, but why do they just go missing? I'm like, bro, you'd be so upset about it. I'm like, why are we doing that?
I'm just vexed because like if everyone leaves all the clips. If everyone leaves the clips to where they're going to be, then everyone has clips, and where are they going?
How, like, we could just, like, we can make fun of it. He ain't going to stop that. Yeah, he going to still keep it. And that's very admirable.
Looks at me sometimes there are whole bars to go wrestling that I don't understand why the bars are missing.
And then I'll have to literally, or I'll just go get the clips because he'll be looking for a solution to all of the clips problem. And I'm like, no.
You don't work here.
You don't work here, and we're trying to work out, sir. So I'm going to go get what we need so we can continue, because you got to stop this. But you'll spend like 15 minutes searching for fucking clips. What are you doing?
I'll spend 15 minutes looking for clips because you won't let that happen.
No, I won't. No.
No, I understand. It's just like after a few minutes, it's just like, Tony, I have clips, but there's someone else's clips. Are you not going to lift the weights? I'm probably just going to take the clips back afterwards.
That's fine. I don't care about
like,
that.
At that point, I don't care because I'm not using the rack anymore.
Yeah, no, but we are going to work out
and the rack and the clips always appear at some point. So it's like there's some person that just because people will take bars off of squat racks for some fucking bizarre reason. And I've seen them do it, and they'll take the bar to go do curls, and I'm like,
yeah,
just use the fucking curl bar, you goddamn Philistine.
No.
You have a straight bar curl.
It's not heavy enough.
Philistine.
All right. When you take the regular bar over there with 220s, and there's a 75 pound curl bar right there on the thing, I am just going to look at them and say, you're an idiot. So you're trying to lift 70 pounds, and there's 70 pounds right there. What's the difference? Well, yeah, you just feel better curling that other bar, don't you?
I mean, there's certain differences since it's longer. But my point was, Charles, is that I think that you're more concerned about like the recognition of like everybody's work. But that holds value to you in your pursuit of perfection and things like that, because you recognize that, hey, the people above me put in work, and so that way, if I put in a level of work, there should be no reason that I
don't attain.
Yeah.
Well, I completely and totally understand that there is a certain degree of nepotism inside of these things, and that yes, just because I put in the same degree of work does not necessarily mean that I will get the same results. I'm okay with that to a certain degree. It annoys me sometimes, but it's just like, I put in just as much work as this person did, and the only reason why I got a job is because their parent got them a job. But I mean, it's not like I don't have similar capacities. I just chose to opt out of those. Like if I worked in HVAC, I would just inherit my father's business, and it would eventually be handed to me. And if I grew that business or maintained that business, I would be making $80,000 to $100,000 a year post taxes and all that other stuff. And I could have inherited that. I could have just inherited that, but I didn't want it. And I feel like once you refute the nepotism or the things that you could have gotten, I think there's a certain degree of culpability in that as well. Because like I chose to deny my legacy. I chose not to go to case. I chose not to do certain things. And you can't complain about when you choose a harder you can't choose a harder path and then be upset that the path is hard.
But I want to.
That's not going to change the path being hard. You can't walk back. That's not how life works.
It should be.
Motherfucker, if I could like inside of that recreate our lives thing where you like I'm watching an anime currently where they just went back to a character literally just went back 10 years inside of his life.
Ruined everything for everybody.
Yeah, he did box out everything for everybody, but he made his life better.
Ruined shit for everybody.
I mean, he's kind of depressed, but like within his nature, he tried to solve everybody's problems. By solving everyone's problems, he actually caused them to have some doubts within their own individual skills. But like, I don't know. If I could do that, I'd do it. Like, Ash, if you could go back 10 years, would you just redo everything exactly the way that you did it?
10 years? So that's when I was 20 and pregnant. No, I'm past the point of like
redoing stuff.
Everything. Yeah.
I mean, at that point, I would redo some stuff, but I also don't have too many critical.
No, because I just feel like, man, I didn't fought a lot hard to get to where the fuck I am now, and maybe
you get to keep all your memories, you get to keep everything, all the internal growth that you get to keep. I mean, you're going back and you still gonna be pregnant, so maybe going back 10 years ain't the best thing for you. It's just like, can I go back 9 years?
I would still have a baby in my belly.
Would still be here. Would I still have gotten married?
It's just like, I probably would have made a few. It's just like I came back with all my knowledge. Get away from me, you fucking ass nigga.
No, I'm glad I did that because at least like my intention was pure, but I was incredibly naive. So
hey,
I did it backwards.
9 years and don't get married. Then we gonna start this company a lot sooner, and shit gonna be popping.
Oh my god!
You would be inside the Air Force at that point in time.
No, I wouldn't.
You didn't. Oh no, you went to the Air Force when I was 21.
I'm 22, about to be 23 next year. I got out when I was 23. I'm 30, about to be 33 next year. I got when I was 30. So I'll be good to go. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna leave it at this one, and then we'll continue on because I am sleepy. I'll ask this more question. Have you ever been in that space where I was in where it's just like, why am I doing this? And I don't know if it's the why, but I just really wasn't like, even when I did my walk back, I'm like, bitch, why are you trying to elevate your heart rate and all this shit? Can we just enjoy this walk back to the car? Or I don't know, like even like I didn't work the week before last, I guess, because I really was sick and I really couldn't talk on the phone. So I couldn't do much of anything. I'm like, I'm gonna chill. And I didn't earn no money at that. And then when I went to Philly, I didn't earn fucking no money in that. And I could have made more money when I came back. I know I made a couple $100 on Saturday, but that was it. Like I shut down my store and was just like, I have no drive to do anything. I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm like,
oh.
Is that losing motivation or just what happened? I don't know.
I was just like, I think motivation ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's this 100% river all the time. I'm always motivated. I think everyone who says that to you, like, what is that dude who's always talking in front of the cars?
Ty Lopez. I think.
Ty Lopez. Yeah, not everybody's. The Ty Lopez is just like, I'm always motivated. I'm always there. I'm always in the zone.
Yeah, because the why, the reason, the goal wasn't even enough no more. It was just like, and what happened?
Look at all of my Ferraris.
Yeah, like Bill's gonna get paid. So what the fuck? Like, what you in this mode for? Who gives a shit? Like, I was just like, but I'm like, and then I cried about it because I'm like, I'm scared. I'm just gonna be a lazy bum, and I've lost this, and I'm never gonna do anything. And my fucking god, my fucking car company reporting late payments made my credit score drop 100. I had got it to like fucking to a point where I'm just like, oh shit, drops 100 fucking points. That shit hit me. I'm just like, why? What am I doing this for?
Well, credit scores are a terrible thing that was only didn't get invented into the 80s, which was the most hilarious thing to me.
But you see, like,
they created
now, I don't know if I've
ever
experienced that, where it's just like, what is this? Like, why can't you just walk to walk? Or why, like, or just having the conversation about living with my parents. And I was talking with my boyfriend, and I was like, He was like, well, don't you, it's like you being there don't really sound like it's the happiest thing for you. I'm like, it's not that bad to where I feel like I need to escape. Like, yeah, I would like my independence, but when I had it, it was like I wasn't living this life that I'm living now. Like, it's a certain amount of freedom. I hate saying it. I'm not like living freeloading off these niggas, but I really can't afford to live by myself. And especially not the life that I've created for myself now. I don't want to give it up. So it was like,
what's
these
more
goals.
important? You going home to less people or you living the life that you want to live?
Right, now I reconciled that, but the more bigger point was like, you know, did I lose not lose it, but you were saying like motivation, like sometimes it just ebbs and flows. I don't know how Tony feels about that.
Are you in ebb or are you in the flow?
Mm-hmm. Oh, never mind.
That's why I was going like, I feel like Charles is a better one to like identify with you. Like, I don't know how.
I mean, I've seen your.
You should speak to like your things because what you're doing right now is speaking like highbrow. So I think you should talk about like your ebbs and flows.
Oh,
because I think that's what she's asking you.
Oh, I'm speaking in a very abstract sense.
Yes.
Like in August when my grandfather died. And then my best friend got married. It's just like that happened at the end of, I don't know, July and August basically all merged together for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty much just, all right, well, that was definitely an ebb for me. Like the entire month of August just feels like it didn't happen. Into July too. It's just like, this is the time. And then I went back to work. And mustering my motivation for work and doing all my own stuff at the same time was difficult. And then last week I kind of got a bit of, not necessarily a gut punch, but I got a kick in the pants. And it's just like, that's the reason why I was motivated. I don't feel like doing this for forever. And sometimes that self-actualization, it's cyclical to a certain degree. Every single once in a while, it's just like, what's probably going to happen next? You might end up contemplating getting a regular job again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to look at it and you're going to start scrolling through. And you'll be like, got to work weekends. Got to work this day. Got to work that day. Got to work this day. And it's just like, no, I wanted to do this to begin with. I want to do this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that motivation just comes back and it comes back roaring and ready and like so on and so forth. And I mean, that's how it works for me. Is it going to work that way for every single person? I don't think so. But that is part of the ebb. That is part of the flow. And sometimes the motivation starts out with a surge and it sputters out. And sometimes it's sometimes it's just like a consistent small stream. Like you're trickling away. I think that's how a lot of writers are. Sometimes you get large, like sometimes the river fills up when it rains a lot and you get a lot of inspiration. But for the most part, you're better off being a small stream that constantly runs as opposed to being a stream that, like in the desert, that eventually you're dry for a good portion of the time. So as long as you got some of it there, just enough to like get you a little bit through. And sometimes things might seem a little bit thin, but sometimes that's when you got to go, when you lack the motivation, that's when you got to kind of pull on your resolve and your, I would just pull on my resolve and my overall like will, but those aren't always a big thing for everybody else.
Okay.
I don't know how everybody feels about their will or their resolve when it comes to these things.
That's fair. I think, there's nothing else to do. There's nothing else to just ride this one out.
Yes. Like there's like motivation is such a individual thing to the point where it's just like you can always feel motivated to work on something. Like, I mean, I think Tony's typically pretty motivated when he comes to some things, but he's also kind of hot and cold sometimes. It's just like, I want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. And there's a certain degree of pragmatism and honesty with himself when it comes to that. It's just like, I want to do this no more. I'm not motivated to do this. So it means he just kind of opts all the way out. That's a bigger thing that I guess people need to ad nauseum figure out. Like sometimes you just don't want to do things anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're to that point with your store. I just think it's more so to the point you're to that, you just hit not a low point, but
Maybe a plateau, but it's not even with that. It was just like,
or
everything.
it was just kind of across the board.
Yeah, it was everything. What the fuck are you? Why do you? What is this rush?
I mean,
what is this?
When I hit
actually?
when I hit a depressive
this.
period, I kind of feel like that. So, like, I would definitely say like the end of July to this point, to the early September, I was probably inside of a depressive period. It's just like I'm just kind of depressed, and I don't know why. It's like I'm gonna be 31 next Friday. Yeah, actually, this Friday coming up.
I was about to say, I thought it was this Friday coming up.
Yeah, like I didn't realize it until my friend poked me and said, "Hey, what do you want to do?" It's just like we were talking about playing Tales of Berseria for like the entire weekend, pulling my Tri-C guys together, and then we're just gonna sit around. We're gonna order some Giannino's pizza and sit around and play some JRPGs and just sit around at my dude's Walker's place.
Mm-hmm.
Probably drink some whiskey and just be around. But yeah, it's just like also points like this typically I hit a plateau. But then again, I start looking around and it's just like I've noticed that nauseam most people don't actually start getting their shit together until they're 30 or 31 anyway. I'm
not even caring about that no more. It's just like I said, I had the conversation. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what is this rush you're in? What are we doing? Like, what? Why? Like, I get it. Like, there's a certain amount of level of survival going on, but I guess maybe I was tired of this idea that I had in my head that these deadlines, these self-imposed deadlines, or this has to be this way. I'm like, but why? Who said? Is this really yours? Or did somebody else give it to you? And I'm just like, I couldn't answer it. And then it just kind of was like, well, I guess we're just going to sit here now.
It sounded like you were having a mild existential crisis, ass.
Because I remember thinking like, I don't understand. Like, somebody help me understand. What the fuck am I doing? Like, what is this going to amount to?
It's going to amount to your daughter having a bit of a better life.
Yeah.
You being holistically happy because this is earning money inside of this method is the way this actually makes you happy.
Yeah, but you never really know. She could be a drug addict. You don't know.
Yeah, but that's something that you can't control, but you're giving her the mechanisms inside of her life to hopefully alleviate that. She could choose to do drugs later, but at that point, that's a choice. Is you can't say I would say there were parents that actually sent their children into the world ill-equipped.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I don't think, to a certain degree, I think the parents share a degree of culpability. But when you sent your child is fully equipped and they have all these tools and they fail to use them, then there's nothing you could have done.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe allowed them to experience some different stuff inside of life when they were kids. But
why do you care about what you don't know? Or what could happen? Why is that so important to you? Like, why is what you want not enough? That's what I keep getting.
Mm-hmm.
Is what you want isn't enough. It doesn't hold value. Like, you doubt yourself. Like, what I want isn't enough because...
Why does it matter?
But it matters because you want it, period. And why are you not enough? You are the reason that you exist. Mm-hmm. Your whole existence is for you. So you not being enough of a reason that's why for me it's like, well, it keeps seeming like the things that you want in life don't seem like they're valuable to you. And it doesn't seem like it's things that you don't have value in. It's like you care about them, but you don't have value in them over the possibility of something negative going on.
What do you mean by that?
Like,
the possibility of something going bad is a reason enough for you not to necessarily do something, or missing something else inside because you're doing this particular thing.
Like, yeah, you feel like because you want to do this and you're so focused on that, mm-hmm. you didn't enjoy that walk down the hill. But that wasn't the point of the walk down the hill. That's not what the point of the walk up the hill was. It wasn't for enjoyment. And so then you're conflating the things. It's, well, what are you doing this for? Did you do this because your goal was fitness and that's what I want to do this for? Or is your goal like, hey, I just want to take a leisurely walk up the hill? But those are vastly different things. And it's like you want it to be the same thing, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is for enjoyment. And yeah, when you're doing it for enjoyment, then yeah, you are
taking a leisurely
walk. You're not worried about your heart rate because that was the point of it. And that's your goal. But if your goal is this, then you can't then want to add new goals to it and be like, well, you're the goal, but you also didn't do this goal that I didn't have before. But now that I thought about it, why are you not doing this? I wasn't designed for that. I was designed, you wanted to get up this hill. I'm motivated. I got up this hill.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to create a store and sell things. You did that. It's enough because it's what you wanted to do. And when it's not what you want to do, that's when it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess that's why it sounds like you don't have a full value of, to me at least, of the things that you want. It's like, well, if you say you want it and you're going for it and then you're in the midst of doing it, why in the middle of doing it is it now suddenly like you look around and start doubting like your level of like why you here?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you don't. Well, no, because you seem very self-aware. So I feel like you usually consider things before you start doing them. So I don't think that would be like a reason where you're just like operating off of impulse. That doesn't seem like who you are. You usually like have a, hey, I want to reach this goal. And so that's what it becomes. But I also think that you allow like
things to sidetrack you or
no, just I think you get sad.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get sad, that makes you just
get all existential.
Yeah. Get more existential on like, it's like when you didn't care about life.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to have like, no, Ash, you can't just like, well, I'm waiting to just go to a different plane of existence. Ma'am, you have a daughter, you have a whole lot of things we need to like, and so that's what
let's try a little bit.
Yeah, so that's what it's like. It's like
this is not a tenable situation
with that, but not in the way of like giving up on like just life. It's just like, well, I could do regular things or just like not a whole lot, and that could be okay too. But I don't think that would really make you happy. Like you have goals in your mind, and sure they're hard and not necessarily as fulfilling as they always could be.
Yeah,
but I think that's a part of the journey.
Then you might just hit a rough spot. You might be in a point where it's not as fulfilling as it normally would be.
You know, I feel I'm pretty active or motivated. Like I said, like the whole time when I was having that whole drinking situation, I don't think that I felt unmotivated. Like I said, sometimes I have an unhealthy relationship with liquor. That was definitely one of those times. But it definitely made me unproductive, and then that made me feel bad. It's like, well, what are we doing? Why are we? And so for me, it's kind of like the opposite of where I don't necessarily question why I'm doing things. I question why I'm not doing something. And it's hard for me to like really incorporate a level of like rest and break and step away from this and feel like that has the same value. And so that's what I work on and struggle with. It's like, all right, so like I've dedicated Saturdays outside of just like watching anime. It's supposed to be my day off.
But you had to point a day off.
Yeah, and then while I'm taking the day off, I'm
still like, doing stuff for something else.
I'm not doing stuff, but I'm frustrated. I'm like, bro, you slept till 11. What are you doing? Why are you staying in bed so late? Like, you could have got up and been productive, seen some things, checked some stuff out. Like, you not doing nothing, and I don't really schedule anything or have like a whole lot going on. Like, it's just like a kick it, hang out, see people, just a cool type of day. But even having that gives me like a level of like frustration. Like, oh, so you're
slacking.
You're slacking. You're not being productive. So I think that I feel that same level of like pressure and anxiety, but just on the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like, well, why aren't you working, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Who says you get to take time off? Where for you, it's like, well, why am I doing this and why am I not at least getting some time off?
Mm-hmm.
Some time to like enjoy the fruits of my labor, which I think is a valuable thing, which I think you do deserve time to.
Perspective is important.
Yeah, no, I think that it's for us. It's like we sit at the opposite end of the spectrum, but we both do it. Like, hey, time off is important. Our goals are important. How do we balance these equally?
And I exist kind of in between the both of you.
Because I'm super focused on work. Like,
I can be hyper focused on work, but I can also like take some time and do recreational things because
some days I want to yell at y'all.
Yeah.
And then I recognize Tony.
That's what we are is not normal.
No, who I am is not normal.
Well, yeah. Why what we are? I mean, what you're saying, you're the we, because you started taking.
Oh, I did say Tony. I did
like
start with
Tony.
Tony.
Hey, you. Hey,
I'm mad
you.
that you said what we
are
are.
normal.
Hey, don't do that to me. Point on my third person in the conversation. But yeah, I definitely was like, hey, sir, you can't do that to them because that's how you like to work. That's not necessarily going to be conducive for everybody else to like wrap their entire existence into this. It makes me feel comfortable. I don't think it would make necessarily everybody feel comfortable.
There are points in time when I can do that. Like, if we wanted to have a point in time where we wanted to just like, I could take a week. I could set my financials up to the point where I could take a week off from work and just focus on a thing and nuke something down or learn a particular skill. And I've done it like prior. Like, I've sat down and I learned JavaScript in a week or something like that. It's a thing that I can do. But there's also times where I piecemeal things out because not everything's necessarily conducive to doing it that way. So, I don't know. It's just a thing. But
we should all be kinder to ourselves.
I agree with that.
But I don't have anything else.
I'm hot.
Me too. We can end the show. It's been a wonderful episode. We had 2.5 hours almost. We love y'all. Light blessings and have a great Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Duh.